Cherry juice.
Cherry juice.
Welcome to the Late Sesh. What is going on, everybody?
I may have done that better last week than you had done that this week's goal of yourself. I said, "Welcome to the Late Sesh."
He did do a good one.
Indubitably.
Welcome, everybody.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
you did pretty good. The first 60 seconds,
Not bad, huh?
I felt the love, man. I did. After the first 60 seconds, y'all were like, fuck me and shit, and it was over. But there was that moment in time where I felt that it was reciprocal.
Only one person can do that for 2 hours straight, Skillball, and that's you, man. Yeah, that's why we need you here.
Yeah, thanks for resurrecting yourself. Coming back from
it's hard because we didn't have polarity science, and it was like I went a full week where I only did like the one show, the Bro Show Live.
Good call.
It was a shitty
it felt like I was in like semi-retirement and shit, man. It was crazy.
I gotta
get back.
I gotta give a big apologies to everybody. I was working in the garden until damn near showtime. After showtime, it was like 9:30 before I left the garden. Garden's an hour away from the studio here, here at home, and it was too late, guys. I apologize, but thanks for sticking around and waiting. Thanks for being here tonight. Shoot,
we'll have a show. Some Def Leppard for a minute. There, you talking about it's too late for love. Anybody?
Happy Valentine's. Speaking of love, all you lovers out there,
all you crazy kooky kids.
I was trying to say something, Skillball, but he had me muted on that Def Leppard thing. That's fucking awesome.
You knew it, right? Okay.
Good reference. Yeah.
Right.
Gotta get a photograph.
Even before that album.
That's Nickelback, Red.
No, he was trying to do some shit off of Pyromania.
Hard. They're throwing darts from behind everybody.
He's further from the mic, but that doesn't mean that he's not going to still throw barbs, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I have a Nickelback like CD or anything anywhere. And
Animals. That's probably the best Nickelback song. Animals.
Don't.
Red, do you or do you not have a Nickelback sticker on the old car?
I don't know what's their sticker look like. Do they have a cool symbol? What's their deal?
Did I strike?
Just probably say
Nickelback. You guys as a Nickelback fan?
Yeah, my mom went to a Nickelback show and she said that she saw you there.
I was at a Coldplay show. I'll admit to.
Oh, did they play Clocks, Red? It was a long time ago.
No, I don't. Clocks was that the early shit? It was the early shit. Early Coldplay. Yeah, this was like 2003, 2004, 2004, 2005.
Red, you want a reality check? That was 19 fucking years ago, bro.
Fucking hey, dude.
Crazy shit now, ain't it?
No, dude.
I love it because as the show goes on, Sequence keeps getting older and older. So all of his little fucking funny boomer shit that he used to throw at us all the time, you notice how he's not doing it as much as he did.
All your references,
he's starting to understand.
Getting older at the same rate, so it's all the same, bro.
It's all relative.
1983 is. I
was gonna say the 80s have always been the 80s. There's still the 80s.
Hey, you know what?
Good times, Skillball.
Wait a minute. So he's talking shit about the 80s? Just remember that he's an 80s baby.
Charles in charge of
Becca's talking shit.
Yeah, where the fuck is Becca at tonight? What's going on?
Yeah, where's Becca?
Is she out with a dog or something? Are you letting her in the house?
She's tired. She said she might be out.
She's not too tired to talk shit, though, apparently.
That's right.
She's clearly listening. She wants to listen, so she's not looping. She wants to hear you guys. She can otherwise only hear me. I guess she doesn't want to hear.
So I was saying in the pre-show, I'll kind of lead off with this. I seen, if anybody is familiar with the area and where the Gibraltar Trade Center used to be in Clinton Township, it's right along 21 Mile Road or so. And
94 and 21
94, yep. And I seen Red, you weren't in the pre-show, but there is a deal between Pleasant Trees and Blake's Hard Cider that they are going to use that old flea market spot that they used to be there, the huge area. Yeah, man. So it's like a super bummer. And it was funny because the name rang a bell. You know how people always want to say, like, who are the companies that we should really avoid? And then there becomes this big bickering thing on like who should and who shouldn't be. Well, I found out in the pre-show that this is like the OG MCMA shit. So it's cool to still really not support Pleasant Trees. So moving forward, guys, gotta be careful.
I'm bummed out about Blake's though. I don't drink often, when I do have a cider or something, I like Blake's, man. They're what is it? They're flannel
Flannelmouth, man.
dude,
Yeah.
is solid, man. It's dry. Becca likes it too. Something we can both enjoy. Is that quiet enough for you guys?
It's getting the look from us.
Tap 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 tap. Painted lady, you were muted again, unfortunately.
She's gonna take control of that shit.
I said, yeah, it's getting a look.
I didn't do it this time.
I wanted to shout out to Jen in chat. She says, yeah, Blake's Orchard is in Armada Township, where they recently created a very restrictive caregiver ordinance.
Armada, yeah. Armada is probably would probably be like 10 or 15 miles north of there. In fact, if you take like Gratiot Avenue when it turns into like Gratiot Road, just keep going up a ways. It's by like 32 mile, I think, is where Armada would be.
I wonder how
Romeo, Armada, all that shit.
I wonder how many.
We talking east side up in here. No, we talking all that bougie west side shit. We don't know nothing about no west side
Do you
shit.
think Blake's is like? Do you think they're forced to be on like 5 acres and like?
Oh, they have to keep the smell down and the yellow jackets and all those other issues that are
the
real
yeast,
nuisance.
the yeast from.
Well, the problem with the apples is that it draws so many fucking deer, which causes extra accidents in the area. So I would think that would be something that needs to be curtailed.
Yeah, they have to.
What the hell is going on?
They have to compost their apples. They have to compost their apples appropriately, or they could cause methane bubbles. So they have to cold compost. I vote for cold composting. I think that the ordinance for cold composting should be enacted, so that there's no methane bubbles.
Are we getting rid of the cows, Red?
Are you guys trying to grab your hallucinations? That's usually ineffective. I've tried that before, but they usually just disappear before you actually get a chance to get a hold of them.
Oh, we're just getting our shit situated.
Situated.
Do you have one of those screens that you can just like wipe?
I do.
Yes.
I got touchscreen laptop. One of my screens is.
I'm gone.
Uh-oh.
I'm back.
I thought she clicked something. And
I'm gone halfway.
You're halfway,
All the
huh?
way.
That's a nice trick.
Some shitty ass fucking
serious technology.
We don't have a very good visual effects budget on the show. I apologize for that. We're working things out going forward. Oh, we're moving people around now.
See?
It's a Chinese fire drill going on.
Keeps everybody entertained.
Well, happy
Because that's-
Valentine's Day to everybody.
Crickets.
To all the kings and queens and in between.
In
You guys do
between.
anything for
I
Valentine's?
gotta hit everybody, man.
Jeez. I mean,
I just want to say that if you're single out there, power to you, man. Power to you. Don't let anybody fucking shame you into some kind of hallmarky bullshit capitalistic thing that you got to burn money that you don't have on shit.
Go down tomorrow, get your chocolate on sale.
I'm telling you,
No,
when it comes to
fuck
the
it.
language of love, I'm telling you,
I said
direct eye contact, and a firm 3-pump handshake is sufficient to allow you to.
That's the voice to a man that's been married for a long time.
3
Right.
pumps. That's it.
3-pump hands. 1, 2, 3, and then. Well, wait a minute. So you really do 2, and you got to do a release on the 3. So it's like 1, 2, and then that becomes the 3rd as you release.
Yeah.
Catch and release.
See, I have a little different philosophy.
See what happens when I don't fucking get to do enough shows, and it's really bad, guys. I apologize.
So you're just knocking the rest off. You'll be all right.
We're getting there, man.
I took a different approach. I was like, fuck it. I'm single. And I celebrated yesterday and took my fucking own ass out and got all the fucking food I wanted. I went to like 4 different restaurants.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
And I still fucking saved money. So I was fucking patting myself on the back too.
I
You
like
should
that.
be your own Valentine.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. There's nothing that says you can't, like, you have to have somebody else to enjoy Valentine's Day.
Did you keep going? I'm worth it. I'm beautiful.
Oh, I'm like,
Wait a
come
minute.
on.
What
Does
was
that
that
mean
guy?
something
Was that
more you
guy's-
want? We can't get anything else? Come on. Let's
Stuart
fucking milk
Smalley. Was it Stuart Smalley?
Oh, yeah, Stuart Smalley on Saturday Night Live.
Gosh darn it. I'm good enough.
People like me.
I'm worth it.
People
People like
like
me. That's what it was. And people like me.
That's right. Hey, you know what? That's so long ago. We're talking about the 80s. The 80s.
The 80s.
No, I was in 1980. I was 2.
Were you
Yeah.
full of
So we were
wisdom
like
when you
rocking
were
out to
two?
like Billy Squire and fucking.
Hell yeah.
I can remember when I was 2. Can you remember when you were 2?
Foreigner, listening to Foreigner 4.
Yeah.
I do like
Rocking out
Foreigner.
to Billy Squire.
Yeah,
I do like Billy Squire. I do
I
like
was
Foreigner.
running around with Oshkosh Bagosh.
Me too.
Yeah.
Dude, I was
Wait a minute. Red, were you
I was
born?
also when I was a little
Was I
bit
born?
younger, like
Was I
one.
born? I was hatched.
Was I born?
I was not born. I was hatched.
Okay.
Not then. Not in 80.
There's even
Are you a fucking Komodo dragon or something? Yeah, what's going on?
The first and only time.
Hatched.
Hatchling.
I hatched from Lederhosen, just like Spartan said.
Red identified as hatched before.
Wait a
the
minute.
school.
Identify
Jones
as a,
into Gross says lowered expectations. Love that SNL skit. I'm sorry, that was Mad TV. Lowered expectations.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I'm
Well,
a-
if you-
I'm a-
if you have not-
That's
if you-
SNL one.
I'm an 80s baby.
If you did not watch a lot of Mad TV and you just blew that shit off, go back
Deep
and watch
Thoughts?
the first couple of seasons.
Deep
back.
Thoughts on the SNL version, kind of that, where they would always have a thought or whatever. I think it was Deep Thoughts.
Oh yeah.
Deep
Yeah.
thoughts.
Yeah.
I
It's
think
like
that
a
was
poem.
SNL.
It was like a
Deep
poem
Thoughts
thing.
was SNL.
Robert Smigel.
Yeah.
That was Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. David Spade was just on YMH.
Oh, boo.
Two Bears. And yeah, it was interesting. He was talking about some of that stuff, some of the old SNL stuff.
Two
Back when it was funny.
Yeah, back when it was funny as shit.
You know what's funny is every generation says back when that show was funny, and going all the way back to like 1975 when that shit started with oh man, who would have been on that in the beginning? That would have been like Belushi and Martin.
They lost their edge in like the late 90s, early 2000s.
Way before that.
Belushi was bad.
It was all right in the late.
Yeah.
The Adam Sandler days were okay.
Dan
I
Aykroyd.
think the Adam Sandler days were pretty.
Sequence, did you own an Adam Sandler album at any point?
I do. I still do.
I owned all.
Actually, I
Well,
didn't even
Adam
own an Adam Sandler DVD, but I had
The reason I
Chris
smoke.
Farley-
The reason I smoke weed. Sorry, Sequence. I'm cutting you off.
Oh, it's okay. I was just saying I had the Chris Farley stand up, he had the Chippendales, all the SNL
Yeah,
skits.
it's fucking awesome.
I had the Eddie
Night at
Murphy
the Rock.
stuff, Chris Rock stuff, but I didn't.
Oh, Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy, I'd have to like take breaks and just be able to get my breath back.
Oh man, what a
Yeah.
legend!
God, he was so funny. Oh,
He
my
was
God.
funny.
Adam
Oh,
Sandler
he's
had
still, we're
this
talking like
song.
he's not alive. He's still.
I know.
Sandler for me as a kid was like watching Happy Gilmore and stuff on repeat over and over.
Happy Gilmore was one of my favorites, man. I watched.
Was-
It's so
was
funny
his
for me.
CD
when
was
people
his
get mad,
comics-
I don't know
comedy
why.
CD before? I think it was before Happy Gilmore, but it might have been after Billy Madison or something like. No,
With
maybe
the
it might
Lunch
even
Lady
have been.
song and shit.
It might even have been
Lunch Lady
before all
song.
that.
I
Dude,
remember
no.
that.
So,
High
so he
school.
had before I get too far. He had a song about breaking down about his buddy mailing him some weed. He breaks it down, and his fucking parrot's talking to him, and his TV's talking to him, and all kinds of shit. It's actually the song that like got me interested in getting high and smoking weed. It's really weird to think about the music influence.
Red, you should
that
get a
way.
shirt of that has like Adam Sandler's face, like that Jerry Garcia shirt is, and you should say, "Adam Sandler made me a stoner."
He did. No, it was like he was
got a song
describing.
called
He was like,
Wasted.
it was yeah, it was. I
good
think it was
song.
called "Fucking Wasted" or something like that.
Fucking wasted.
It was hilarious, and
Good song.
and I feel like I had smoked weed maybe once or twice, and it just hooked me into like the culture of cannabis. And his songs were pretty. His comedy skits were very graphic, dude. The one about the kid getting run over by a boat. Like I actually know. I'm one of my good friends. I'm a partner DJing weddings with him. He actually got ran over by a boat.
Wait a
Yeah.
minute. Now, if
What?
you get run over by a boat, it's water. So unless you catch like the rudder or like
Dude,
if
it
you
was
get, like-
he got caught underneath a pontoon.
you get mangled or something,
He got caught under a pontoon, dude.
Ooh.
And he was
Oh,
and like, yeah, he hit the prop hit his leg, he went to emergency. He actually died for a moment.
Red, you were talking earlier about your hallucinations becoming reality. This isn't. You're not doing gigs with like Casper the Friendly Ghost, are you?
I'm telling you, man, it's
Could
really
be.
wild.
Okay.
It's quite possible. I told you I was hatched. No, they no,
Wait a minute. So that makes him more like Mork from Ork. Remember, like when
great
Jonathan
dude, man.
Winter was on there and they had him hatch from that big fucking egg.
Yes.
He and I actually share a name. You know, if you know my actual my government name, he and I share a government name. My first name, not a last name. But
Red.
He's
my government
Red
name,
Rider. He's Red Rider. And yeah, no, we're really good friends. We're actually partners. DJ weddings together. Really thankful he's around. He talks about that experience a lot. You know, it's pretty gnarly experience, man.
The sort of reactions Red elicits from chat.
Well, I mean, he's bad. Like, he died for a moment, I should say.
I know, but you put the emphasis on that beginning part.
Yes,
and so everybody was
exactly.
like,
We're like, how could this story get any
oh
worse?
fuck, I feel bad for
Now he's
laughing.
DJing with his spirit, man, and it's fucking badass.
Well, he died, but he did come back. And
Detroit River Rat does remind us of the great story of Red on a Leash. That is some funny fucking shit, dude.
according to my mom, it shit's never happened. So some kids,
But it made for
parents
quality
put me on a leash
content,
at
though,
some
Red.
point. And I-
They might not fess up to that, but you've been on a leash before for sure. You had the teddy bear backpack with the
With the little tiny prong collar that goes along with
I
it. or
don't
something.
remember the
It's
teddy
like a
bear.
kerchief.
It was retractable, like the dog leash. Those retractable ones.
You pow.
Speaking of,
Get
this
over
reminds
here.
me-
Gotta do the fucking Mortal Kombat voice when you bring him back. Too.
Get
Get over
right.
here.
This reminds me of a story that
It's got a reel on it, like a fucking.
Painted Lady referenced this, and I said I had to save this story, and I haven't even told her yet until we were on the Late Sesh here. And she was talking about, I used to live in Oklahoma, and for one reason or another, the topic of the Oklahoma City bombing came up. And unrelated to that, I once upon a time famously told my elementary school teacher that my mom had passed away in the Oklahoma City bombing. My mom is alive. And my teacher was very surprised, and blah, blah, blah. We went through the year a little bit, and then we had parent-teacher conferences, and the teacher was talking to my mom and telling her how nice it was that she was doing all the stuff for me and taking care of me in my difficult time and all this sort of stuff. And my mom was very confused.
Wow.
And because I told the teacher that my mom was my stepmom and all of this sort of stuff. And then the teacher filled my mom in after a little bit because the teacher asked for permission to put out like collection jars for money for the.
You almost got away with it too. If it wasn't for
For
that
the
meddling
cause.
teacher.
You almost got some money too.
I got my ass kicked so bad. And
They got that $1.58 out of you, didn't
Well,
they?
you had set up a nonprofit.
Oh shit! He still brings that $1.50 in your worst. While you're down, he's kicking you, and he wants that $1.58.
Hell yeah. I want my
Jesus.
$2.
so funny to me still.
Oh, not funny.
I was maybe first grade when I told that story. So I was, to me, I was telling some minor little attention grabbing lie to a teacher or something, and yeah, I learned my lesson. But it was really
It's
really
very
funny.
Bart Simpson-esque to me.
Bart Simpson-esque.
Yeah, like you were a
That's
young shit starter at like a young fucking age. Like you've like mellowed and aged into this comedian bit that you've got now, but you used to come with it a lot more raw, younger, apparently.
Yeah, dude.
My friends down the street used to talk me into terrible shit. Like, I never would imagine doing something like that. And I would never imagine coming up with the idea to go collecting for cancer door to door and then taking the money down to 7-Eleven and buying candy. But we did.
That's worse than what I did.
Well, my friend, I
That's
didn't
a
come up with the
total
idea.
scam.
My friend was like, let's just go door to door and just tell everybody we're collecting for cancer, and then we can just have candy money. And terrible.
You know, to back you up though, Painted Lady, I will say this: is Sequence was going to try to get away with it too, because they would have given him those collection plates, and then he would have went down to 7-Eleven and bought some like big bites. And
Probably. Did.
Oh, he would have bought a
fucking
mountain bike.
bought a mountain bike
Mhm.
at 7-Eleven.
So
You
lighter,
know what the deal is at 7-Eleven? All the bikes are free if you're fast enough.
That's a good point.
There you go.
If you're fast enough, yeah.
but in
Get your
karma,
ass beat,
I did
stealing
get
bikes
caught,
from a
and I got in a lot of
7-Eleven.
trouble. So, fine.
Moral of the story is if you're gonna do something really dumb as a kid, make sure you get caught so you learn a lesson.
I learned a big lesson.
Oh,
Eric's
thank
asking
you
about
to-
alpacas.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you to Eric for bringing up the alpacas. I have a message to read to you, folks. Hold on. I have to find it. This was fucking awesome.
$500, man.
No, you guys brought up it was it Carl? What was the name of this?
Carl.
Hi,
If you've
Carl.
not gone back and watched that fucking Carl and I don't know what the other fucking llama's name is. I
Hold
think it's
on.
called Llamas with Hats is the name of the show.
I've got to find this message.
Have you ever seen Llamas with Hats?
No, I haven't seen Llamas
Oh
with
Yeah.
Hats.
my god, dude. That's
No.
where all the jokes, that's where that Carl shit comes from. Is like Carl.
I failed
Because
to
Carl is
Google
this
that.
fucking horribly diabolical
Those
fucking
two
llama that
keywords.
does nothing but kill people in fucking horrible, violent ways and shit. And so his buddy's
I'm
always
gonna
trying
start
to get him
changing
out.
up my keyword searches.
Okay, so
Sorry.
here this was from
Alpacas and
I don't want to. This looks like
Oh,
like
they
an
are.
actual name, so I don't want to just call it out. So I'm just gonna say a viewer. They sent me this DM that says, among other things, I'm gonna read this one part. It says, "I know Alpaca Carl. He's my neighbor at the Lazy K Ranch. They're selling off all their animals and getting divorced. Too bad for Carl and the gang. Nothing warmer than the scrotum fibers from alpaca."
It's like a horrible turn at the end, bro.
Dude,
Yeah,
it was a great
bummer.
it's like
So you might be able to get a good deal there for Broly if you listen. Get the whole crew there for.
does he have like
fucking
this leads me to think he has like an entire quilt made of
scrotum fur.
Divorce
How
ruins
How many
a lot of
harvests that would
families.
take?
So
Yeah, how many
Red, you
alpaca
know what that
scrotums
actually
do you
is?
really
Red?
need?
That's called a gooch blanket. So it's like
The gooch blanket. Yeah,
Just wrap up in a
there's a gooch fur, a pack of gooch fur.
wrap
that
up like
would
a
be.
giant tea bag. You just
A pack of
teabag it.
gooch fur. You gotta make sure you clean it really well.
Smells like piss.
Yeah.
gonna say it angry like that.
R. Kelly sheets.
Gross.
Oh,
Too soon.
Hey, it's a
shit, it was
lyric.
20
from a
years ago and it
Macklemore
is still too
picture.
soon.
I can't even take credit for that. It's a Macklemore lyric.
True. The piss line is a good lyric.
Cheers, Chad. If anybody has any questions to try to derail us from this otherwise entertaining
Is it
content,
possible to derail us? We always stay right on topic. What are you talking about?
stay in the pocket, man.
Can you be derailed if you're never on the rails?
Touche.
I'm getting my flower girls back in line. Finally getting them back down in the good numbers. So,
What do you have?
what do I have in there right now? Let me see. I have a Lime River Rose. I'm doing like the whole second round of all of those. So I'm doing a different pheno of Lime River Rose. And geez, oh Pete, I have a Dog Beach from Family Tree Seeds. And Apple Fritter is huge. Baby, she's readjusting herself down here and causing a ruckus.
I want to hear.
And and let me see what's over in the corner. Geez, I'm having a hard time thinking. Oh, no, it's not Grandpa's cookies. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, and I was having trouble. They were with the ppms coming out way too high on them. So, I think I've finally, you know how you guys were telling me to just knock down my ppms on the input way down. So that's what I did, and they're starting to come way down. I had to flush some of them a lot to get them way down, and then now
There's some products that help with that. It's like, I don't want to say it's Res Clear, but there's some product that they make that help. It's like a flushing agent. I think if you Google that,
Yeah, is it Sledgehammer is the one that I used to know. That was by
it's just like all it does is it dissolve the salt a little bit, so it kind of runs out faster.
yeah. It's got
I
like
didn't
a
have too
kangaroo
much
on the cover.
of an issue. Like I the first time I ran it a few times, several times through April Fritter to get it down, and then Now I'm just running the really low solution through, and it's just coming out a little bit high on the other end. So I think it's,
That's quite
just
good.
still starting to flush out a little bit. But yeah, so I think I caught it in time, and they're starting to recover, and everything's looking good. So fingers crossed I don't run into any more issues, for fuck's sake, man. If I can just have one run go well, I will be stoked.
You're
So
just working the kinks out, man. That's all.
it really has been a struggle trying to go from soil and bottle feeding organic to cocoa and salts. Like, it's just a completely different system that I'm
I
used
agree.
to.
It's way more work, if you ask me. I think it's way less work to do soil. It's so much easier.
And I think my other problem is I don't have a fertigation system. I don't have it automated. So I think
Yeah, that's true. Automation makes that. That's where that shines. That's where that system shines, really, is when you can automate it.
Yeah, because I think what's happening is I think that it's drying out in between, in between that 12 hours, the lights are off and those salts are sitting in there up at the top, and they're not getting forced.
That's actually a huge issue with like, especially if you're running with something like Jack's, because if you're drying out, your EC is going to go up. So if you're reading 2000 ppm when it's wet, then they're probably getting 5000 ppm when it's dry. You know what I mean? Like, that's probably where
it's not that high, but it was high, and
yeah,
so
you shouldn't.
That's what's happening. So I think I'm gonna.
Yeah, you shouldn't let it like dry out when you're, at least when you're into flour. Like, I'll accidentally let shit dry out sometimes in veg and stuff, but it can get hydrophobic fast, but you can also like boost your EC.
Yeah, I think we're going to automate it. So, because
Really
I just can't, I mean, there's no way I'm getting up in the middle of the night to water again before lights off.
We just took that to a step further at work and went to the dosatron setups and automated the actual mixing too. And oh god, do you know what I got to do now in fucking veg? I go upstairs, I run a bucket on a cart with wheels under a fucking hose, and I fucking fill that bitch up. I don't have to mix shit. It comes out the right pH, comes out already mixed.
Nice. Wow.
I can hit those fucking, get them all done. Or I can hook a fucking watering hose up to that bitch with a little flow timer or flow counter on it. And I can say I want, I can set it for 1,000 milliliters, or I can set it for 500 milliliters, or I can set it for 5 gallons.
That's fucking sweet right there.
If I want to do like a mom, I'll be like, all right, I just got to watch it till 5 gallons and boom, it's done. It shuts off. And the whole time these pumps just keep fucking pumping, keep making more nutrient on the fucking fly, and just keeps the pressure going so that you can just do that. You just walk around with a fucking hose to water the moms or whatever.
That's awesome.
It's pretty dope. I can't remember I wish I could remember the guy that they brought in to hook all that up, his whole crew and everything, but that was pretty fucking awesome.
Do you think that could ever be cost effective for a smaller scale, or is that strictly large?
If you could, yeah, I mean, you can look at, there's some very similar things that like Craft Farmer has a big web page where he goes through and shows how he does his setups, and it's very similar to our setups. So something like that, but still, even that is, I mean, it's relatively not super expensive, but I mean, it's a lot. Yeah, I mean, you got to be a plumber.
Hey, lady, how many plants are you trying to water?
This time around, I'm not doing as many. I did I think I only have like 7 in there right now, 6 or 7.
So
they're big.
So a single octobubbler on a riser with a base. If you can figure out how to like build this out of PVC or something, get yourself a 5/8 nipple that you can thread onto some PVC. Right. Mm-hmm. This is going to cost you $15.
I already have PVC.
If you have some PVC, if you have some 1/2 inch and stuff, get yourself a 1/2 inch female thread to PVC, coupler, so you can thread on your octobubbler. This is a manifold. The octobubbler that I'm talking about is a little black manifold. It'll throw 8. It'll throw 8 spaghetti lines out. It'll throw 8 lines out. You can hook them up to a fucking Netafim or whatever you want to hook them up to. And then
you probably use 2 per plant, you think, at least, or do you think you get away with 1?
I mean, yeah, I'm just talking a real simple solution here. So you can go on
Probably.
vacation or something. So like, just take that, man. Run a 5/8 line to a bucket. You can use a 5-gallon bucket. You could use a 30-gallon tote. You could use a 40-gallon garbage can. You can use anything. You can fill that fucker with Jacks in a 3-2-1 solution. Dilute that thing down to 650 ppm. Your pH isn't going to go anywhere. pH is 6.2, and just let that thing rock. Put it on a timer that goes off for a minute. 3 times during the on hours, like once maybe when the lights come on, once 2 hours later, once midway through, and once before they go off, 4 or 5 times, and you're good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a hand waterer, so that's all new to me. So yeah,
You can a little pump too. You don't need a crazy pump because you're only using 8 plants, and at most, even if you do dual lines, you don't need anything more than a couple 100 gallons per hour.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't get anything more than like one of those little small aquarium style pumps that have a threaded nipple that'll hold a 5/8 line. Before your line leaves your bucket or your tote or your garbage can, put a little hole in it and put a little elbow in it. Put a little elbow anchor, and that's an anti-siphon. It just, when it pumps, when it goes, it's going to push water back into your reservoir. It's going to, it's going to shoot water back into your reservoir. That's no function. The function is when you shut off your pump, because when you shut off your pump, it allows air to go back up inside and it kills the siphon. Otherwise, your entire garbage can and reservoir is going to go out onto your floor, because as soon as you start your pump, you're going to fill that line with water, and now it's full. And when you shut it off, it's going to continue to drain and create a siphon, and you're going to siphon it out, and it'll just you can unload 1,000 gallons in a siphon through a 1/4-inch line. You know what I mean?
Check valve in.
What?
You do a siphon or a check valve.
Oh,
Yeah.
Check valve. Yeah.
I've got all the extra pumps and lines and shit from.
Yeah, you've already got it all.
So I'm gonna just drag some stuff over and start hooking up.
Are you going to use Netafims?
We're doing a pick and pull at my house.
Pick and pull like the
Nice.
Yeah. I don't have left for
that might depend on the check valve, though. I mean, the check valve has to have spring pressure if that's the case, because a normal check valve is just a single direction flow. You want something that's actually killing the air. If you're using a check valve, you can, but it has to have spring pressure. Because you need something that's pushing against. Some check valves are just like a fucking ping pong ball. You know what I mean? That's all a check valve is it's just to prevent flow in one direction. So it's to prevent a backflow. Check valves are good for backflow prevention, but they're not good for killing off air. Like, air's the important.
Do we need a backflow protection on this setup?
The anti-siphon is really, really easy. So
yeah, the anti-siphon is literally just a hole in the line. It's a hole in the line, and I use the elbow. That way the water doesn't squirt all over the room.
Red is right, though. You can't overstate how important it is to put that little hole in there. It will empty your res into your pot.
Yeah. It'll empty
if they
into
can't
your pot,
hold the entirety of that res, it's going to end up somewhere.
You'll be pissed.
You'll be pissed, yeah.
Don't piss your future self off.
Nope. You'll flood your floor.
Well,
Medical Mondays podcast, I see this jump.
If you can find a minute-second timer and get yourself down to like being able to only feed like 25 seconds at a time, you can feed like every 2 hours. You know what I mean? And that's what I feed every 3 hours. And when I put my plants in there on day 1, I might feed for 25 seconds. And by day 50, I'm feeding for 40 seconds or 50 seconds. But I'm not achieving runoff. I'm just, as soon as, I'll time it. I'll kick on my pump. I'll let it feed. I'll count how long it takes until I see runoff, and then I'll deduct 10 seconds from that. If it takes 30 seconds, I'll deduct 10 seconds. I'll go 20 seconds and I'll feed, because I'm going to feed every 2 hours. And it'll eventually get a little bit of runoff and it'll evaporate, and I won't have to clean up anything.
And you feed the same amount every time?
Every time. If I start to see something funky, I'll lower my EC. Or I'll just lower my feed tank EC. Leave it lowered for a week.
Okay.
But there's a million ways to do it. I mean, we do 3-gallon pots, we water once.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's a Hannah probe that you can get. It's like maybe like $80 or $100, but it's a little probe, and it'll test your EC. You can just stick it right into the soil. I have one. Grab it if you want. show you. It's just a little EC meter. That way, rather than because I don't fuck with runoff or anything, so I just stick that sucker into the soil. I can stick it in the bottom of the pot, see where it's at the bottom. I stick in the. I used to stick it right through a fabric pot, right through the side of a fabric pot. Check the side of my EC. Super easy.
Well, I don't mind checking the ppms in the runoff at all. So I'll just continue to do that. But it's just a completely different system, like I said, that I'm used to. So I'm used to hand watering, but it's clearly not working for my setup because those plants are big and only getting watered once a day in 3-gallon pots is not. It's getting a buildup. So
I think that's a good point you're making, is that you're changing because you need to change. Because if you do this long enough, especially if you're not lucky enough to tap into a community and really learn the right shit out of the gates and follow somebody that knows what they're doing, you're going to buy a lot of, Sequence says he's got to pick and pull over there. That's because he took down a greenhouse. You know what I mean?
Well, it's because I did it and had to buy a different thing and had to buy a different thing. And
exactly.
It's important to remember that, like, Red can tell you all the numbers and sizes and everything that he uses, but it's very specific to like what size plants he's using and how much he wants to water and how often and how big the pots are and
how big the pump is.
All the sorts of different parameters that he is using in his grow. So ideally you do a little bit of research and find out what's going to work for you and apply all that knowledge to your space.
Yeah, I'm basically watering up to, I'm using a Harbor Freight pump out of a reservoir, watering up to 18 plants with that. I don't know, man. It's like a third horsepower pump. It's like a 1/3 horsepower. Yeah. Maybe it's a 1/5 horsepower pump.
No, it's got to be bigger than 1/5. 1/5 is super fucking slow, dude.
Yeah, it's the one that's it has a hose. It has a 3/4 inch line out the top, but I reduce it. I reduce it down to 5/8. I go down to 5/8.
Quarter or a third.
No, maybe I do use 1/2 inch. I use 1/2 inch all the way around because all my PVC is 1/2 inch. I reduce it down to 1/2 inch. I probably use 5/8. I probably use 5/8 poly, and then I use 1/2 inch PVC. So it just keeps getting reduced. Every time you reduce, though, you increase pressure. So in reducing your line, now if you open your line up and you start using 3/4 inch PVC or 1 inch PVC, your manifold, you're gonna reduce your pressure. So I like to lower my lines, right? I got 3/4 inch coming out the pump, If I reduce that, I'm gonna increase pressure. So I reduce it first to 5/8, and then I reduce it again to a 1/2 inch on my PVC on my manifold, my overall manifold. And then I loop it into a big fucking a closed loop so that it equalizes pressure before it comes up into the plant. So all the plants start getting fed at the same time. It's fluid fluid dynamics. It's just basic laws of volumetrics, right? Liquid.
That's way too smart for me, man. I'm way too stoned and way too smart. You know what it was? Sequence told me to buy this really cool part that I had to make sure that I had before I hooked up my system originally. And it was a pressure reducer, remember? What did you take it down to 25 PSI or some bullshit? I think that's what it was.
Well, that's really important for certain emitters.
That's specific.
Power your emitters. And
that's specific for emitters,
sprayers or turn them into really
Yep.
Yeah, you gotta be.
Well, the other thing I like about those cheap ass octobubblers is that you can get the little screens that go in there too that catch all the bullshit before it goes up your line and clogs up, say like a Netafim or something. And the reason I like the Netafims because there's nothing to really get clogged. There's no moving parts that you have to worry about. Oh, is it spinning or not? It's coming down, it hits the piece and sprays.
Right.
Just walk through every once in a while with a little wooden toothpick and clean them all out.
Is that the secret?
That's what you do.
I basically just run my 1/4 inch line into a T.
Yeah, so you're just doing the direct flow, so you don't have to worry
Direct
about
flow.
clogs either.
I operate everything individually with little 1/4-inch valves. I put a little 1/4-inch valve on it, and I can increase or reduce flow, so I can grow giant plants next to small plants and just do whatever I need to do.
Okay,
I operate at
to
max.
buy 15 of those was what, $3? You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
wasn't that much more of a cost.
They're not much. They're not very expensive. Well, the valves are like 80 cents a piece in a couple years ago, so we'll call them $1.50. We'll call them $5 a piece now. God,
$5 a piece now.
it's ridiculous.
I mean, what can a banana cost? You know,
it's just fucking ridiculous now.
Where
But
you
like,
struggle at it.
you know what I mean? Like, it relatively inexpensive depending on where you can get them from, right? I honestly sourced all my shit from Box Store. I think I sourced everything from Lowe's for the most part. They have a Rainbird, I think is the name of the products. Like, I really like their hose because it's
they're black
not
poly.
their black poly's great, dude, because it's like
Do you buy the tool
it's
that
a
punches a
thick
hole in it?
rubber. No, I don't use holes. I go directly into PVC. Everything's threaded. I'm on a concrete floor. You know what? I'm not looking for leaks or anything, man.
I want to bring
all
up
of my
quick bit of a
fertigation
tidbit
go
real
into my
quick, Brad.
pots. Go ahead.
That Rainbird tubing is 700 outside diameter, 0.700. I bought some other variations of that same tubing, and it will not work right with the Rainbird fittings and stuff.
I'm saying that I'm not. I think Rainbird's Home Depot. Wait a minute.
You're saying it's proprietary? No, they have it at Menards too. You're saying it's proprietary then?
No, it's not Rainbird. It's Mr. Maybe it
so.
is Rainbird too. No, it's Mr.
Yeah,
Mr.
you're right, Brad.
Mr.
Kyrie
Mr.
Alason?
got their own brand.
Mr.
Mr. It's Mr.
Kyrie Alason.
Mr. is the
travel.
tubing that I like. I think Rainbird is,
Come
but
on, let's
dude,
make it a
they
duet,
also have a
lady.
1/4-inch. They have a 1/4-inch drip line too. I've often
do.
thought about making a 1/4-inch. Like, they have like 100-foot drip line that you can get. That's
Their drip line's got a weird texture to it. It's almost like a fiberglassy type texture. It's interesting.
I wonder
Always use
what
Brandy's.
would. Yeah, I wonder what would come out of that if that's the case. I mean, I'm already running
It
shit out
might
of
be
a bunch
because
of
it's like an
plastic
extruded
inserts.
plastic, but it's like a fibrous texture to
Why
it.
don't you just do res pump to fucking poly, flexible poly, punch your fucking
That's my plan.
punch your holes. Yeah.
Too likely for leaks. Too likely for leaks. I
Dude,
put
we do it.
everything onto.
We do it all the time. There's no leaks.
Yeah, I don't like that punching a hole and just leaving it. I like shit that's threaded. I like doing.
It's
I like
a barb. It's revert. It's like a barb. You punch in there. It's not just a hole. It's like
Yeah, I still don't. I like the rigid line because then it's level, and then the fluid dynamics work properly. Everything
you
stays
just
level.
run this. You just run this in
You
a
don't have
circle.
those, you know.
You just do a loop, and you get an even pressure.
Yeah, but that poly's not perfectly straight. You know what I mean? The PVC stays straight and rigid.
This is rigid. It is not very flexible. If you flex it too much, it just folds. It's like
Right
a
on.
rigid poly. It's black.
Yeah, I
on
mean
the
that's
inside, white on
a
the outside.
cool. Yeah, you can do it that way too. You can do it that way too. I like using PVC.
I'm just saying. PVC. Either way, you can make a manifold rather than use an octobubbler, because that way you can do more than 8. You can customize it to as many leads as you need.
That's the important
That's
thing
all
for her because she might grow 20 plants, she might grow 4.
Yeah.
So you gotta have.
She needs to be able to have different spots for the plants too, right?
Right.
So we got to be able to make sure we're using some kind of hose so that, you know, if this plant's getting too big and it needs to be moved just a scotch further away from this other monster lady, because, you know, she likes to grow them big in there. You know, you got to have that flexibility. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Here we're over there now, babe.
I know. It's because I handed him the bong and it was smoking while he was talking and it was going right in her face. He was letting him know.
About it.
Yeah. So yeah, she's up now. Now she's up.
I wanted to shout out I did already once, but I want to shout out Medical Mondays. I was watching their show a little earlier, right before ours, and they had this. What do you call it? I can't remember the letters in front of it, but basically a accountant, and he was saying that. That could have been a CP,
certified.
But yeah, but he was saying that as a caregiver, if you're caregiving for patients, you could claim. He said to get you a get somebody to prepare it for you, but you could claim like your nutrients, your soil, all your supplies, and even count for your time. I was like, holy shit, I didn't know you could do
That's a
that.
nice write-off.
So if you a
Well,
caregiver,
you would have to claim income though, right? You have to claim money.
you can't claim income because in the state of Michigan you can't get income.
There's
The
no
only thing you
banking.
can get is money for your time.
I wouldn't write that off as a loss. You get
Yeah.
audited.
Yep. That's a
Don't
Yeah.
take a loss.
giant red
You need
flag.
to claim some income. You're allowed
That's
to
what I'm
take
saying,
money
but the
as
income-
a caregiver. As
that's
a
what I'm saying.
caregiver, you're allowed to take money from your patients. So
That's what I'm saying. You can't profit. You can take money for your time, so that's an expense
The
that you're
donation
paying,
part. Yeah.
but you can't show a net profit. It's
you
in the
can
law.
take money as reimbursement for your
Expenditures.
expenditures. Yeah, you're allowed to take money not just for your time but for your expenditures.
Right.
And stuff.
That's not showing a profit, right?
Right.
Yep. I think on that black market
saying the same thing.
XYZ page or whatever on Instagram, they were sharing something related to this, and how somebody shared some bad advice on TV, and that it's against the federal law to have cannabis stuff, even medical cannabis stuff, on your taxes. You want to be careful of that.
So you're telling me I can't write off my CalMag?
No,
I
he said,
would-
no,
I
he said that
doubt
too. He
Fuckers.
said,
according to that
you
black
should.
market XYZ.
no, this guy said the same thing. He said you can't, if you're, because the question was asked if you're your own caregiver. He's like, no, then it's considered like a hobby, and you cannot. But
Right.
if you're caregiving for other people and taking money in, then you can.
Yeah, I would definitely make sure you have some sort of tax professional if you're trying to pull off that.
Right. Yeah, and that's what he recommended too.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So my cousin
you-
that's been
if
working
you
for the
claim-
tax place holding the fucking sign up out front is not a good source of my tax information, is what you're telling me. The
Well-
sign spinner is not to be believed.
The thing is, ultimately, your name is the one on the taxes.
Exactly.
So when
If you
they get
claim-
filed, you're liable for what happens.
Right on.
If you claim what you write off, you don't pull a profit. You still claim an income.
Well, you also have depreciation you can fuck around with too. We're writing that shit off too. This light's depreciating. My yield wasn't that good. It's depreciating. Let's use some more accounting terms and make it sound legit.
That worked in
Yeah.
my divorce, I tell you that. The ex tried to claim that all my stuff was worth all this money. I'm like,
Wait a minute.
it might have been worth that brand new. This shit is like fucking 5 years old. Look it up. You're not gonna get anywhere near that.
I'm
Depreciate.
Put it
curious
ad
about-
on Craigslist and see what you can
No,
sell.
I didn't. I solved the argument quickly.
That's so
I
funny.
just said, you know what? I'm not even gonna argue over the price. I will split it all with you. You pick your
You
half.
take half the lights. You grow your 12.
It's nowhere near what you're claiming is worth. Nowhere
I've been
near.
thinking about this. I'm gonna go conspiracy theory. I've been thinking about this one for a while on the whole federal IRS and cannabis legalization thing, and I've been thinking about how, like, as a business owner, you don't want to take a loss, so you don't want to write everything off in 1 year. Say you do all your shit ton of purchases in 1 year, you don't want to write all that off in 1 year, so you stretch it out over a bunch of years. Well, in the cannabis industry, we haven't exactly been able to write everything off. So there's a bunch of stuff that regular business owners can write off, and cannabis business owners can't write off, right? So what happens when the levy breaks, when the federal levy breaks? What happens when the federal levy breaks on that is, are cannabis entrepreneurs going to be able to backtrack and start writing off all of these? Like, let's say their business is 10 years old because they've been legally operating.
Assuming that your locality is going to allow you to operate as a business. I
No,
think
you already have been
The
operating.
rules
You've
of accounting
been
apply.
operating.
If it
You've
once it
been
becomes the point where
operating.
you would be banking with it, Red, look, I'm not
That's
an
what I'm
accountant.
saying.
I just do a
They
lot of
don't give a
accounting
shit if you've been doing it for 100 years.
Guys, let me finish the whole statement, please. So in what happens when the federal levy breaks, and then all of a sudden all of these companies now are able to backtrack all of their write-offs. Like, do you know how much, like, that's what I'm curious if that's part of this holdup, is that's going to be a huge loss on the IRS's end, because they're going to have to pay out write-offs to all of these companies that haven't been able to write any of this stuff off. paper, all of the basic business ends stuff that dispensaries and shit can't write off that other businesses can write off. Once the levy breaks, now they can write this stuff off. Well, all those business expenses have been tracked for the last 10 years. Now they're going to finally be able to write them off. And they could probably write them off.
But there's rules to that, Red, that you can't, they're not just going to automatically go back 10 years and pull all this. That's not how that would work.
No, but what he's saying he's saying like in the past, like right now, we're paying like 65% as our tax rate as a business in Michigan. There's some fucking insane amount because of the cannabis laws. If those were to drop and the federal legals would drop, we wouldn't be treated in that way. We'd be more like every other business was like in the 30s or some shit. And that'd make a huge difference. And I'm
saying that as a business, you can write off your cost of goods, man. You can write off.
I don't think you're going to retroactively get that enacted at all.
You can as a regular as a regular business, you can. Like you can go.
It would go from the date of the enactment, Red. It wouldn't be a retroactive law.
That's what I'm wondering if they'd be able to, because I mean, you purchase your building, you do all this other stuff, like all that shit's write-offs at some point.
No, starting on the day that the law is passed, then sure, you can do that going forward, but not backwards.
It's only a write-off if it's legally a write-off when you buy your building.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, see, that's the type of shit that I'm wondering if is holding stuff up. And that's why I'm saying conspiracy theory, because I don't know.
Otherwise, they would never change a law under the worry of like all the fallout from.
Exactly. Well, it's the Monday Tuesday law. Like if it's illegal to jaywalk, right, and I do it on Monday and I get booked, okay, so I'm sitting in the calaboose because I jaywalked. It's a law, even if I didn't know it. Ignorance of law does not matter, right? So then Tuesday, the law goes into effect that jaywalking's cool. So Tuesday, Red, you walk across the street and you get away with it. And that's like me taking my prison cup and running it up and down the bars and screaming about, well, that's not fucking fair because Red got to do it. Well, the law in the time that I was doing it was illegal, and it's just different. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. What about the cannabis?
Anybody think of that visual with the cup going down the bars?
What about everybody that's sitting in jail right now for cannabis when they're talking about this on Medical Mondays?
Monday, Tuesday law, man.
They're saying they're literally smoking on air and fucking selling cannabis at the Super Bowl, and you're sitting in jail watching it on a little fucking screen because you fucking had cannabis.
Well, they got the internet now, I guess. That's kind of weird. You would think that they only get like 247 kind of thing, but hey, jumping with the times and shit.
It's fucked up anyway.
Shout out to anybody in the Calaboose, in the Who's Gal, in Stir, in the Thug Jug, in the Clink. If you happen to be listening, cheers. This next rip is for you.
That's right.
I took my R so early, I'm already ripped.
Fortunately, they're doing that in the cannabis game, going back and letting people out for offenses and stuff. But the reality is they knew what was illegal when they were doing it, and that was part of why it was lucrative at the time. And so it's kind of like the same.
People just got caught with smoking it. Some people just got smoking it trying to treat a disease or treat a fucking ailment and try to self-medicate, and they're sitting in jail for that.
But like the point of the conversation is like it was illegal at the time. So then when it became legal, they didn't automatically get let free because it's suddenly legal.
Oh, right. Yeah. They should be. I mean, that would
I think they should be.
Yeah.
It's a retroactive law at that point.
Yeah. So then they got to fight for that, to get that to happen to them.
Yeah.
Redemption Cannabis Company we talked to Ryan Bayshore not too long ago. And his company is one that helps with people that were convicted of cannabis crimes and everything and getting out everything. So
they're going to be in Jackson coming up pretty soon. They just saw a post at the Stone Depot. I'm not exactly. Check out the Stone Depot on Instagram. They probably have the post up.
In Michigan.
Actually, I saw it on Redemption Cannabis's page.
You can get lowered license costs if you've been convicted of a cannabis crime in Michigan and some more other sorts of things. So in Detroit, they tried to go far and beyond what they were able to do, and their ordinance got pulled out by the courts. So they've definitely tested it as far as they can push it.
6 minutes. 6 minutes. 6 minutes. Hash time will be on. Dougie French.
Man, you know what I've been watching? The Pam and Tommy story on Hulu.
Oh man.
Is incredible.
Is it salacious?
Salacious. No, it's good. No, Seth Rogen did it, and let me tell you, he's not painting a real good light of Tommy Lee at all. It's kind of interesting.
Are you surprised?
A little bit. Only because, I don't know, I guess I just kind of figured they were friends or something. But maybe they're not, because I don't know, form your own opinion. But he doesn't really look like a cool guy in it, but it's entertaining. I'm entertained. That's for sure. And we've been watching the Olympics. I turned it off, but the Olympics have been interesting.
She wanted me to pay attention, so she turned it off.
Well, no, I had to pay attention. No, if I have too much like outside distraction going on, then it's tough for me. So
you didn't get the memo that the United States is boycotting the Olympics?
Yeah, we did have a diplomatic boycott. I forgot about that. They are all wearing the flag and standing for the anthem, and you know. So,
well, I mean, diplomacy is a very
ancient
thing.
Yeah.
Well, I like watching them fly down the mountain and do all that crazy shit flying around.
Sequence like some spinning and wiping out and shit on the.
We've been discussing curling, like the rules of curling and how that works.
Could you be a sweeper? Could you be a sweeper?
Definitely.
Yeah. Man, those fuckers are furiously sweeping.
They got one foot with sandpaper on it and the one foot that's all slippery and they're slipping, sliding.
I think I'd be pretty good at pushing the actual. Is it a curl?
The shoot the duck.
Rock.
Is it a rock?
In the shoot the duck position.
Boulder.
Shoot the duck. The
old
NES.
Shoot the duck hunt. Shoot the boulder. Yeah. Shoot the boulder.
Yeah, man. That's an important spot. I think they all took turns though. Everybody takes a turn doing each position, I think. That's what I saw the other day, wasn't it?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I'm not a regular.
I had never watched curling before, and it was interesting. I thought, I don't know how you fucking get started. Like, I'm going to be a curler. I mean, unless it's like a family thing, but
you want to get in the Olympics or not?
I mean, no.
Yeah, we don't have anybody north of the border here on our show with us, but I think it's a popular thing in Canada.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of the curlers are from like Minneapolis, northern Michigan area, all the frozen tundra.
I got a nephew that goes to northern. I should ask him if he's up there, if they got like a curling team. Yeah.
Is it like
were they of advanced age? The competitors?
Yeah, he's of advanced.
Oh, dude, they have to bend over and furiously sweep.
Oh, you mean like advanced age, like the elders do this?
It seems like just one of those sports, like the shuffleboard.
Like shuffleboard?
No, dude.
I love shuffleboard.
They can't get down in that fucking position, the shoot the duck position.
Shuffleboard's awesome.
How many countries are actually involved in that shit, though? Like 6?
In curling?
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them, man.
This is a major Olympic sport.
I mean, let's not kid ourselves. The Winter Olympics are never like the major.
Still not going to watch it.
The one guy's got.
Let's keep going with the billiards topic. What about darts?
Giant
darts?
I don't think that's a winner. I think it might be.
Is there a Olympic cribbage sport?
Cribbage?
No.
I'd like there to be Olympic billiards.
There should be Olympic euchre.
Bumper pool.
You know what I bet there is?
Michigan
there's not a billiards. I bet there is.
Yeah. Shuffleboard, darts and pool. You need a little. You know it's a wild pool. Snooker. You see a snooker table?
Yes.
Huge table, little tiny balls, dude. Yeah, man. It's like
you 16 like the tiny balls, do
balls or something. Tiny balls, big table, baby. Yep.
Snooker's fun to watch.
Flat like the earth.
Oh.
Oh God, no.
Flat like the earth.
Not doing it. We're not doing it.
It's not even hashtag yet, man. Jesus.
Woo.
We're within a minute.
We're imminently close, though.
You're
It draws
approaching
near. Cheers, everybody.
I keep getting lost looking at the chat. Cheers, chat.
One thing about the show is we're killing the timing lately, right?
United States won the curling gold medal last time. By the way, 2018.
Oh, 2018.
You would think
Yeah.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
every 4 years, man.
Mm-hmm.
I refuse to be excited about that.
I don't have a TV hookup, so I haven't been watching any Olympics, but you know, I'm sure it's good. I was like
I enjoy it.
It's so
I like
fucking-
the snowboarding, and I like to watch them do crazy tricks.
yeah, I think it's cool that they brought snowboarding into it in the last decade.
Man, and they were at 83 miles an hour. They were
Couple
flying down the hill just a little while ago in the downhill.
What's terminal velocity going down the
Crazy.
side of a mountain? Is there? You get up to
Terminal
what?
velocity going down a mountain.
Yeah, you got the friction of the snow. So I mean, like, assuming you get yourself a good fucking probably 50 degree angle, 60 degree slope, and you're on fucking nicely waxed up.
Terminal velocity just is terminal velocity. It doesn't matter what you're at, right?
Let's say terminal velocity. I think under
Is it?
the vacuum and
Well, there's a terminal velocity for parachuting. You know,
Isn't
that's
it just
100
as fast as you're gonna go?
What is that speed, Red? Is it 30 miles an hour?
No, it's 120 miles an hour. You'll tear your
Jesus.
parachute if you go any faster than that.
Jesus
So
Christ!
you want to stay below 120.
How does one control himself? Do you have to do like the Bugs
No,
Bunny?
they
where you,
throw
like,
them
throw your
little
feet
tiny
out?
parachutes out. They throw those little
Oh.
tiny parachutes
throw
out.
your
That'll
arms
keep 'em-
out.
Yeah,
That's a
that'll keep 'em
mile
a
every
little
30.
slow.
Full flying squirrel on that shit.
Well, I don't. I think you keep accelerating, man. Isn't like force of gravity is like 14.
I believe it's like
throwing numbers out
600
there.
miles an hour, like 38 said in chat.
It's
It's the terminal velocity of an unladen African sparrow.
God, I'm so stupid.
Oh, that's a nice reference there.
I'm curious how fast you get on skis, though. You probably think you could break over 100 miles an hour.
Do you think it would matter if they were like
so far,
banana
I think.
peels?
This is
The
without
Alpine
a
course is damn near fucking.
without a
It just looks like ice. It
without
just
an
looks
engine.
like they're
you know,
on ice going down a
it's pretty
mountain this
fucking
way.
fast.
I don't know what the pitch is, but it's got to be at least 50 degrees. It's,
Have they
Holy
shown any of like
ass.
the humongous ski jumps? You know, where they like.
Well, those
fucking dive
losers.
forever?
How fast do the losers go? Those fuckers haul ass.
about
don't
the
they?
same, about 75, 80.
Yeah,
Luge, yeah, those guys lose about 70 miles, and they take turns too, man, going that fast.
We were
I go
watching
way
the
faster in my
skeleton the other
car.
day.
God.
The skeleton.
I'd
is-
run one down in a
I
minute.
don't have
man.
no medals, and I go way faster in my
Like a
car.
fucking gazelle over there.
Oh my god.
That's the point, man. There's no engine on these things.
Oh, it's scary 160. Yeah, whatever.
The Alpine downhill.
Jesus. You're also like completely in armor.
Yeah,
Dude,
Hey,
I'm telling you,
that's
when
just
I was
being
in
smarter.
Germany, I used to have a mountain
Just
bike,
being
right?
Smarter.
And I was riding in between two cities through the woods, man. And there was
Put
this
that on a
humongous
luge.
path. It was really wide, man. And this motherfucker was cooking. Dude, I was probably doing about like 25, 30 miles an hour through the fucking woods on this goddamn mountain bike, man. I'm like, I'm in my prime though, so I know when
That's-
I fucking
yeah.
eat shit, I'm not gonna die from this, right?
No, but you might.
Oh, dude, it was horrible
Did you?
because, like, oh, absolutely, fuck yeah. There's only one way off, baby. You don't slow down in the fucking downhill like that. You just ride it until you don't, just
No
don't hit a
break.
fucking tree. So there I was cooking along down this motherfucker, and because there's so many trees and it's Germany and it's all fucking, you know, overgrown and shit. There's like this wet spot where all these leaves are like on top of water and shit, and you
Oh, fuck.
hit that motherfucker, man.
That's when you go sideways.
That's just Superman right off that thing. Man. The nice thing was is it was a
Wet
soft,
spots always get you.
soft forest carpet. So, you know,
Oh, that's awesome.
being army trained, I knew to tuck and roll and ride with that shit. But boy, I was a long way away from my bike. I'll tell you.
It's all those years of making Mrs. Skilbo take the wet spot that got you, Skilbo.
Oh, shit.
This was
shit.
in my youth.
Revenge of the wet spot.
Wow.
Revenge of the wet spot.
You know, they
I
say
like
the
that-
floor
like
is
that
lava,
running down.
man.
Floors
I wiped out down. I wish I could say that it was like kind of skill of mine, but I tripped. But I wiped out the same kind of way, running down a hill, playing paintball, and fucking rolled. I don't know how many
Did
times.
somebody shoot you after you came to a complete stop?
No, they were shooting at me the whole time, and they missed me. They thought I was like trying to be Rambo and some shit. I pulled some awesome maneuver, and I just tripped. And I just rolled like 2 or 3 times. But when I stood up towards the end, when I slowed down and I just kept running, it's like it was a smooth motion, and they were all impressed. The funny thing was I just fucking tripped, and I just went with the motion. I don't know.
You ever see those kids that like get into like a large tire and then roll themselves down a hill really fucking fast?
I used to do that. I got sick from that, so I stopped doing it.
I always
It's like early
wanted to do
G-force
that,
training,
and
man.
Yeah, I'm glad I never did.
Never did that one.
Yeah, it gets you so dizzy.
I rolled myself like down a hill, but I got in a tire.
Oh, yeah,
I started to
sideways,
do that shit, and I
down.
was like, I'm gonna fuck out of this thing. I'm gonna fly out of this thing. I'm gonna break my neck. That's not gonna happen.
No.
Little did you know that it was still going to happen anyway, right?
Still gonna happen anyway.
Motherfuckers.
Jumping off a fucking dock.
Man, we've all done a bunch of dumb shit when we were little.
Not secret. See, I knew he was going to.
Yeah. Little.
You just fucking tried to claim that you were like
$20s.
a poor street urchin because you were a victim of fucking 90s terrorism.
See, I'm a victim of capitalism. That's not
Late stage.
Well, we all
capitalism.
are. Get fucking with it.
That's not a fault of 7-year-old me or however the fucking old I was when I pulled that off. That was me trying to be an entrepreneur.
He's getting older, guys. Watch. The next story is going to be talking about he was 16 when he
How
said
old
that
are first graders? Like 6 years old, 7 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
shit. So it happened in 1995. So you would have been 6.
It had to have been like the year of or the year after the.
Okay.
You know,
There you go.
so whenever that happened.
See, my powers of fucking stoner deduction there. We did a little simple math and we figured
I
it out.
couldn't quote you the day that it happened. So
95.
What about the hour? Come on, let's be fucking specific.
95 was Dangerous Minds, dude. Coolio.
95.
Coolio and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Coolio.
Michelle
hell yeah.
Pfeiffer.
Dangerous
Oh my god!
Man.
Out of
Yeah.
everything, out of
I can hear it in my head, dude.
I think OJ Simpson. I feel like OJ Simpson.
No, he was 94.
Is that 94?
and not even a good Coolio.
Come on, that was so popular that Weird Al Yankovic does spoof songs.
That's what I'm
That's how
saying,
popular.
dude. Bad Hair Day came out right after that.
Fuck yeah, man. Amish Paradise.
Amish Paradise.
Oh my god!
Fuck you, because now I've just got that stupid fucking opening
know.
keyboard shit stuck in my head.
Yep.
Remember it was like the hair, he's like Island Boy, fucking Coolio.
Dude, I
Coolio.
knew every lyric to that fucking song. I was in like probably 5th grade or some shit, dude.
Coolio is the OG
Yeah,
Island
me
Boy.
too.
Fucking sweet
Did you
little-
know Mbop by Hanson? Red?
Fuck, yeah, hell yeah, I knew him.
I knew
Of
that
course
song.
I knew him. Bob. Yeah, dude.
No.
Hanson was
All
better
the
later.
Spice Girls,
When they
Spice
grew up,
Girls, Hanson and all
That
that
was a
shit.
big
was
song when I was a kid.
I wanted to punch them in the face.
Middle school era.
Were they the ones from Australia?
no, they're
No.
famous.
No, that's Silverchair. I'm
Spice
thinking.
Girls
Three
was
long
long
Yeah,
hair.
you're thinking of Silverchair.
Silverchair.
Bop
Fuck
song.
yeah, dude.
God
Silverchair.
damn.
Silverchair was
awesome.
like 95, man.
Silverchair is awesome, dude. I remember some Silverchair.
That was a fucking.
Is it Anna song?
Incredible
Anna song.
album.
Anna song. It's something sink, something sinks.
They had a big display at the Hard Rock in Mexico. Silverchair did.
How was that Hard Rock Cafe in Mexico? You guys never did really speak on it.
That's cool.
Eh?
It was good.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, the concert was just. I mean, it was just being able to be outside and in the ocean and watch the show and.
Well,
That's-
now that
that was the
it's
cool
been
part.
like a couple of weeks, and I think that was like your savior really to kick it off for you guys was like, fuck this shit. We got something really cool to look forward to, man. So
Yeah.
having this time to reflect, what's your favorite part about that whole trip, man?
I know what his is. So
What
go
do you
ahead.
think is wait, this is like the newlyweds game. Dun,
Oh,
dun,
sure,
dun,
no,
dun,
it's
dun. We get somebody to like get the card, you know.
We know stories.
I promise anytime we talk about sex, I'll mention it as whoopee in the total 1970s question. When you make whoopee.
That's so funny. I totally remember that.
Okay, so what's your favorite thing, Sequence?
My favorite thing was flying. That was my first flight, my first vacation. So flying and stuff was really, really awesome. And then standing in the ocean, seeing the bands was unreal. I got video of it and all of that stuff. Fish swimming up between your legs while you're watching music and passing joints and all that sort of stuff. So,
Did you take drugs from strangers?
No, we knew him. His name.
no, we didn't actually. We brought our own stuff and smoked our own stuff, and it was perfect.
Smoking.
And then like
Smart.
you're watching shows and stuff, and they had so many servers, and there were people sweeping up joints off the ground in between sets, and people sweeping up cans and throwing
They kept
away
the shit clean
bottles,
then.
and
Okay, cool.
bringing you beers and taking away your beer cans and the whole deal. You didn't have to leave your spot the whole time. It's a good time.
Favorite show, favorite
Sound
act.
like really nice.
Revolution was
Time, dude.
incredible.
Okay. Painted Lady.
Mine was a tie between Revolution and Denim.
Cypress Hill was
And Cypress Hill.
very
Cypress Hill. And we had breakfast like a couple tables away from Cypress Hill one morning. Was really crazy. That was pretty cool. Yeah, it was great.
We saw Clay Guida. That was cool.
Yep. I went up and called him Guido. Not cool. And he called me out, and his mom was standing next to him and said, Guido, with an A.
Oh no.
Because I didn't, whatever.
Whatever. It was the spirit of the thing, man.
Yeah.
It was the
And it was all
recognition thing. Like, hey.
He didn't hold it against us because every time he was training the entire time he was there, and he was running back and forth from one end of the resort to the next all the time. And every time he ran by us, he would say hi. So
Yeah.
Major impression.
It was really cool. Cannabis is legal in Mexico now, so they didn't have any issue. We were smoking in the pool of the Hard Rock, like right at the bar, everywhere.
So when he was running by, was he just saying you were high, or was he just saying hi?
That's kind of funny. Something I'm thinking about now is, usually the Hard Rock Cafe is really uptight about shit. So that if you tried to blaze there on like tomorrow, that it would be strongly frowned upon.
probably.
Strongly frowned upon. Like, yo.
It was interesting because I think they did they changed some rules for our festival in particular. And then also down there in Mexico, it's just legal now. So they have a more relaxed thing there that way. So yeah, you could smoke right next to security. They wouldn't say anything. You could smoke in the pool. People were respectful everywhere. Nobody was like throwing joints that I saw anywhere where they shouldn't be. But they were like keeping that place clean. They were sweeping out the flower beds and under the bushes and shit. Sweeping the leaves up off
those
the
ticket
ground.
prices paid for that kind of fucking attention to detail, apparently.
For sure.
Well, speaking of tickets, there was one terrible thing that happened today. I got an email from Ticketmaster letting me know that the Rage Against the Machine show was rescheduled yet again to 2023.
Damn.
Oh, fuck.
Damn.
3 years since the original.
They're not even planning on a summer tour?
Nope.
Nothing, huh? They're taking the whole year off to...
Oh, not till April now of next year.
I guess it's better than the band totally, like, completely falling apart. Like, they're all kind of... That was going to happen anyways. A long time ago. Remember when they've all, like, stopped jamming, like,
Yeah.
what, 10 years ago or something like that anyways?
Yeah, they reformed basically just for this tour and then didn't do the tour. It almost makes you hope that they're going to do it at this point.
Yeah. It's like what happened with Led Zeppelin a couple times, man.
Yeah, so that's a bummer.
Yeah, with Led Zeppelin,
every
once fucking John Bonham died, they were like, we will never perform as fucking Led Zeppelin again. And so what you would get is like Robert and Jimmy would get together, and they did a couple of. I think they did like an acoustic album or some shit in '94.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were going to tour with Run the Jewels, which was going to be both of those bands are politically charged and would have been awesome tour.
Well, that's the thing. Rage is very apropos for the times, man.
Right. Yeah,
It'd be a good show.
Yeah, we'll
very
see.
live show.
If it happens.
Who's about that crowd? It'd be very interesting.
You got notifications on, right?
Yeah.
Bunch
Yeah.
of old anarchists. Sounds fun. I don't know if like the younger anarchists dig them though. You know, are they into them? Are younger anarchists into the fucking rage? Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know anyone that doesn't like Rage. My kids probably don't like it.
I don't know any younger anarchists, so there you go.
I think that's a good point, Scobo. That's a very good point, Scobo.
We're headed to see K-Flay
You're out of
next
touch, right?
week.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
Kayfabe.
K-Flay.
K-Flay?
K-Flay.
Is that a
Okay.
place, a person, a thing, or a
Person,
Yeah,
place, or thing.
person.
person? You're going with, but I missed who?
Taking
K-Flay.
my girls for their birthday,
Oh,
for my daughter's birthday, to see K-Flay.
K. K-
At Fillmore.
What kind of music is that?
She's alt.
Okay.
Alt. Alt.
Yeah.
Like all.
Right on.
Yeah. I don't know.
She's
Yeah.
she's rappy, kind of alternative.
Oh,
She's-
I don't want to go either direction, so I'll go alt down.
Up, left, right.
I stay away from the left and the right, but I'll go alt sideways.
Wait.
She has her own style, kind of. She does her own, like, she does everything herself. She does her own music, like she does it on the computer, and then she adds her vocals, and
That's
they're,
cool.
you
Fuck
know, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Weedist is mentioning Corn. Didn't they just come in concert like last summer?
I think they're coming around again, aren't they?
Sure.
Coming around again? Okay.
Great band if you get a chance to see them.
How many times you seen him? Twice?
3 or 4.
I don't even know.
4, I think.
But that would be a good show.
They're quite
They're good.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
They
If
are
you like
good.
their music, they put it on. They still do. They got it.
Would you
I
or
used
would
to
you
like
not see
music,
Corn and Limp
man.
Bizkit together?
Not something I
would.
put on.
Oh,
I
yeah.
totally would.
Now,
Totally
but-
would.
Hell yeah, in a second.
But dude, I remember that tour. I remember that. What was
I
the
would
name of that tour?
unironically like
Fucking-
Limp Bizkit, I think.
If they played the whole Chocolate Starfish album, I would be in heaven.
What?
Fuck yeah, man.
Didn't they do some shit?
Fucking
Wasn't it
damn.
Corn, Limp Bizkit and like
Family
Rob
Values
Zombie or
tour?
something? The Family Values tour. That's what it
That's
was.
the one.
Dude.
Yeah.
I would really like to actually see Rob Zombie.
I have
Does he
seen
still?
him.
Does he still tour?
Did you see him as
Yeah,
White Zombie?
I saw him as Rob
Mhm.
Zombie. He had
Rob Zombie.
John Five from, I think John Five's from Detroit, playing guitar for him.
That's pretty fucking cool.
You know, I'll give
Amazing.
White Zombie some credit because for the times there was nothing that sounded like White Zombie when that
Yeah.
came out.
Yeah.
I agree,
Actually-
Skilbo.
Dude, I saw Rob Zombie with Joey Jordison playing drums. Rest in peace.
What?
What would you say? That's like industrial or like
Yeah.
the beginnings of industrial.
No, the beginnings of industrial when I started thinking about it, it's
That
like
was
old
Ministry.
Ministry. See? Yes, Ministry.
Hell yeah.
You know
That's
what's
when
up.
I was at Lollapalooza and they came out and everybody started ripping up the lawn and throwing it. I thought I was going to die.
You guys ever go to
Yeah.
industrial night at the Leland Hotel downtown Detroit?
That doesn't sound too kosher, bro. It was at the Leland Hotel.
Industrial night.
Fucking,
Industrial
Like,
night.
stuck in a conversation.
Industrial night at the Leland Hotel. Casson at the corner of Cass and Bagley is the Leland. Well, was I don't know if it still exists. A lot's changed downtown since then, but it may still be there. It's really nice. It used to have a club on the second floor called City Club. They had a big gymnasium, DJ booth, bar area, and I guess for a long time it was a skinhead bar or some shit like that. Back in the 90s, it was like a punk rock skinhead bar or something like that. I guess I shouldn't throw labels like that, but it was that type of bar. And then in that time it was like an industrial bar. It was a pretty wild place going in there, man. It was not a lot of clothing, a lot of swingers. It was a wild
shit, it's
place.
one of those kind of
It
places.
was a wild place, man. It was a real wild place. Yeah.
Did they have a big fishbowl?
No, it was
No.
With cheese in it?
It's the super old school way.
I got invited out there and I
Don't
wasn't
party like that
sure,
anymore.
you know
You said anymore and then looked directly at
what I was getting myself into.
That's what you're supposed to say, right? Not since the accident.
The unseemliness.
Mm-hmm.
I hear DOG drinking.
DOG is crushing it over there drinking.
Mm-hmm.
I'd just be glad he's not singing.
I'm
Yeah.
just glad you gave everybody the visualization of what's actually going on.
Is he drinking or is he licking his balls?
It's back under the table.
See what happens when you're not on cam.
We'll go with DOG and water.
Sorry,
Red.
You know I
Happy
love you.
Valentine's Day, Red.
We'll go with
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I mean, like you guys don't want flowers and stuff, so like,
Oh,
I
fuck.
mean,
If you haven't given the show a thumbs up by this point, please do so.
That's one of the downsides about keeping proper IPM etiquette. I don't really bring home
We almost got Robert on that one.
flowers or anything into the house. I like doing it in the summertime. We can bring flowers outside and stuff like that. Like having a little mid-year Valentine's Day where flowers actually come home.
I didn't bring any flowers either, Red, because why would you buy shit that's going to die? Fuck that.
I brought home a ton of dead flowers, dude. I brought home a bunch of dead flowers, man.
Well, the smokable kind is cool.
I mean, that's the whole
This is
purpose
what
of our
I
fucking
got
shit is to
from
grow them until they
sequence.
die. Ooh,
I brought
ooh la la.
Candy's always good. Candy's
Yeah,
always
man,
good.
look
Good
at
way to go.
A couple good buckets of flowers.
check out these truffles.
The
Ooh.
truffles. Red, would you eat or have you eaten chocolate-covered ants? And are those appropriate since they're red? Are they appropriate for Valentine's Day?
I've
Little
eaten
cinnamon
straight
bites?
ants. I've eaten
Chocolate-
uncovered
chocolate
ants, just
Chocolate-covered
straight.
ants. I'd probably eat chocolate-covered ants.
I think
don't
I
know.
would.
Why?
I think I would
Yeah.
try it.
Point.
I
I
have
probably
millions of
wouldn't
times
eat. Are the fire ants hot? Are they?
Not fire.
Presumably. They're
Fire
little
ants
cinnamon
bite,
knots.
will they bite my tongue?
Little
I
cinnamon.
don't want. I'm indifferent about the fire ants, but maybe like a basic little black ant. I got enough on my fucking floor right now, dude. I'll definitely fry some up.
Just
You have
do some
fire
work
ants
footing.
in
That's all you
Florida?
got to do.
Dude,
Get 'em
I
in.
have-
I've eaten the little sugar ants, the little red, little
I've
brownish
had
red
those little
sugar ants,
Toro-
raw, alive.
sugar ants,
What?
dude. They're just
They
everywhere.
don't
What?
taste like anything at all. They're like nothing.
They don't bite your tongue
Why
or
are you
anything.
eating it?
No, they were in my
That's
fucking
what-
cereal, and I fucking
Yeah,
pour the milk,
that's-
and they all fucking come out. I'm like, fuck it, just kept
You
eating.
said, "Fuck it, get down,
What
get
the
down
fuck?
this
What?
morning."
I'm gonna have to find a purpose for these things because I got so many.
His
of
name
them.
is
Back
Spartan.
that shit up and back it up quick. We need to investigate this cereal story.
I wasn't in the position that I am now in life, and it wasn't the richest person in the world, and I wasn't going to throw away a whole
You
fucking
had some
box of
ants in your cereal.
You needed protein
Yeah.
for
They were
it.
getting in your.
I didn't know until after I poured the milk, and they were swimming already. I'm like, yeah, fuck it, and I ate it, and they didn't taste like anything different than cereal. It was fucking awesome.
I'm with
Wow.
you now. You can't waste
Well,
milk
yeah.
and cereal.
Cinnamon
Yeah.
Toast Crunch
Yeah, fuck
ants.
that.
When it was just a cereal, I was like, whoa. But like now,
Cinnamon Toast
Fuck
ants.
that.
I
I
mean,
was
you're diluting
Oh,
this
man.
little tiny morsel of an
Dude,
ant.
no, I was defending my
You
fucking
dilute it
territory.
down
You don't fucking come into my
with
territory and don't
Cheerio.
expect
I
me
mean,
to fucking defend it with
I'll
fucking
stab you over a piece of
severe-
cake.
Single
Golly,
Cheerio.
giant
Single
severe
Cheerio
prejudice.
completely wipes away the
You
flavor
were
of an
the
ant.
fucking T-Rex.
Yeah, this it was
Like a
cereal.
it was a
1 to 10
sugary cereal
ratio
too.
by
It was you're right. It was what's that flaky with the tiger, Tony the tiger. on it.
Frosted Flakes.
Frosted Flakes. It was Frosted
Frosted
Flakes.
ants.
Oh
Frosted,
man, I had
frosted
frosted
flakes.
flake French toast
Yeah.
yesterday.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Hell yeah, it was good.
Let's talk about this ant thing for a second though, because I need a solution, guys.
Oh yeah,
Choose
I've
your
been
mom,
trying.
choose
I've been
ants.
trying the ant baits like crazy, and So I think that they're working. The ant baits are working. The problem is that this ant colony, I think, is literally the size of my shop floor. I think
Might
that
be.
Well, just keep
I
using
think
those
right,
those
yeah.
ant baits because they take that
Yeah.
back.
Take it
to the
back.
net.
every few days when I'm out there, dude, I'm vacuuming up thousands of dead ants,
Yeah.
and living ants. You know what I mean? So like, just
Awesome.
and this has been going for a month already with the baits, maybe longer. I mean, every few days, thousands of ants, dude. I mean, they're coming up in heaves, and when I go out there when the lights come on, poo, they really like to come up, and I'll stand by their hole.
Sticky yellow
I'll hit
sticky
'em with the
strips down
back
there.
end. After this
That's
round of
fun.
crop, I'm gonna get through and I'm gonna try to seal up as much of their entrance as I can. I got a big crack going in the floor that was sealed with some
Is it sandy red?
In the spring, get
yeah,
that
it's
sealer
on-
stuff red and put it
it's a
all
slab
around the
on sand.
perimeter of your building. And
What are you saying to put around the perimeter?
Get that granular
Geranium.
stuff. With
Oh,
the
okay.
greenhouse,
The
that's what I
granular
do.
bait.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Granular all over outside.
I'm not gonna grow anything that I'm gonna eat around the side of my building anyway. I'm gonna grow a bunch of like rosemary and just stuff that's gonna be like, keeping bugs away. So
I think that granular shit worked for you for the greenhouse, didn't it, Sequence? In the very
Oh, yeah.
beginning, didn't you guys have some
Granular.
massive fucking ants?
Yeah, lots of ants.
And then they were gone.
there's supposedly this stuff by Bayer that you put in your own. You like put it in a
Monsanto.
yeah. So that's kind of I'm trying to avoid that, but I'm gonna have to do whatever I got to do to get rid of this issue.
Borax.
Well, yes,
Borax is what I'm
nature.
using right now. That's
Borax and sugar.
yeah. I'm using the it's called like Toro or something. I don't
Borax.
know.
Yeah.
And that's a borax solution, but the other stuff is like intensicide or intensicide. I'm mispronouncing that, but it starts with an I and it's a something aside.
There is another good product you can use. When I was
Insecticide?
looking up ant products, it's a commercial only product, but you can like call an exterminator and they can get it to you. And it works even better than like taro and stuff.
This is definitely something I want to like take back to the colony because I don't want to spray my room down. Spraying.
They
the
gotta have
immediate
like a
area.
license and it's like a
Oh wow.
clock gun type deal.
Oh okay. Interesting. Huh.
But yeah.
Fill it. They fill the colony probably. Mine's in like, dude, they're coming out.
I'm sure that it's a food source, whatever it is they're putting out, but it's a poison as well.
Interesting.
Does anybody remember when they poured the fucking some kind of aluminum or metal or some shit through that whole ant hill, and then they dug it out, and it was just crazy
That's
huge.
wild.
Yeah,
Looks
man.
like a lung.
During hunting
It kind
season,
of does, dude.
during hunting season, I would always come across these giant sand piles, dude. And they'd be 4 feet tall. They'd be huge. They'd be 12 feet in diameter.
No, that ain't no
And I wouldn't
sand
think anything of it. And I'd kind of walk on it. And like when there's snow on the ground, you don't even see it. But then like the snow would be melting. You just see these like little bits of sand everywhere. I went hiking during the springtime in the same hunting area that I normally go to. And I was like kind of didn't really realize it. And I was just walking over one. I mean, it wasn't frozen, and I started sinking down into it. My leg was fucking covered in
Ant
ant.
hill quicksand is no
Oh,
fucking
man.
joke, bro.
Quicksand, dude. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. I realized then dude, they're everywhere in the forest, man.
It
Giant.
makes me think of another story from my childhood. in
Crazy.
Oklahoma, oddly enough.
Ooh.
Childhood me came across a lot of fire ant hills in my day, and
Oh.
I've been bitten by a lot of fire ants in my day. And one time I found this toad, and I was like, all right, now I have my defense against these fire ants. So child me
Bufo toad?
took this toad and chucked it on this fire ant hill.
You thought he was
And
gonna
the
eat them
fire
all?
ants killed that toad
No.
fast as fuck.
Oh no. Oh whoa.
And that is
Wow,
never
that story.
expected to happen because
Wow.
we feed ants. And child me learned a lesson about the size of armies that day.
Wow. That's wild. So
Yeah.
did they like strip the ant down to or strip the frog down to bone?
Hey,
or,
hungry,
like-
hungry.
I
He
didn't
put his ass.
Drowned, but the ant didn't, or the frog didn't make it.
You should feel
Wow.
terrible.
I did feel terrible. I was like,
That-
I thought he was gonna win.
Well, you thought he was your champion, and then
Yeah,
he just got
you know,
fucking
I was like,
decimated.
I
and
got the thing.
There's a
right
chance that frog would have
I
jumped
can
on
see
that.
young Sequence going, Toad, I choose you.
Right.
here. Pokemon, dude. This was I
Squirtle.
was ahead of my curve here.
Terrible.
Shit,
He had to leave after that one. He was like, "That joke was so bad, I got to
Man.
get the fuck out of here."
He was just
Dude.
over it.
Eric in chat says that he hears ants hate alpaca shit. So maybe I'll try to use some alpaca
You
shit.
know, we got some good mileage out of that yesterday. That's got to be a record for how many times that word has been used in one broadcast.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Man, do you still think about that frog?
Me, no.
You were still thinking about that frog.
In that moment when we started talking about ant
I
hills.
will. Now I will think about the frog.
Yo, what up? Welcome to the show.
My mouse. What do you think the fucking chances of my mouse falling off of the little table thing? falling down and it clicking and closing out the fucking window.
Clicking the off
How does that
button.
happen? How does that even happen?
Later browser.
It's like, I was just laughing. What more can you do? It shit like that happens.
Dude, I was listening to I'm just back on this fucking stupid alpaca topic, but I'm thinking in lines of its cousin. So like I heard the term guard llama from Joe Salatin's.
Yes, dude.
And I was like, dude, that's a good idea. Like, so like
I'm gonna spit at you and shit though.
if
They do.
yeah, like that's one of the good sources of having llamas is they'll guard your chickens, you know.
They're chickens, yeah. They'll keep your chickens from getting killed by coyotes and stuff.
You need to have a goose. Yeah,
Get
you can have a
Get
goose.
a fucking donkey for that, man, because they
Geese
sound
actually help with coyotes. Coyotes.
donkeys.
Yeah,
Will,
it's a
donkeys will
lot.
fuck up a coyote.
Those things are scary.
You say a donkey? Yeah, dude, donkey.
Yeah,
Llamas,
donkey.
llamas and all those like emus and stuff.
Llamas are a
Things
cool
are
thing, so I
nasty.
give them a pass.
Because
Well,
they look in the eyes.
There's this
Oh,
Did you say it was going to lick your eye?
Joe
That's like worse than a
Salatin.
gooching.
Joe Salatin writes the pasture poultry profits method or something like that. But basically, you can raise birds on pasture without any type of shelter or anything. Minimal shelter, like basically a moving
Coyotes will fuck
rolling
some shit
shelter.
up, man.
No, man, no, dude. You keep a goose out there, or you keep
it's a rope.
yeah, you're good.
It's like a wagon. You can hook it up to a tractor and you just fucking
Do it.
just roll around with it.
What's his name? Justin Rhodes coined the name chickshaw, kind of like a what's it called? Like a fucking rickshaw, yeah. But so something you can like pick up and on two wheels, and you can like move around, and it's a small shelter. You put them away at nighttime. They can poo and everything in there, and then you move it daily so that you're constantly scattering the fertilizer. During the day, you open them up. Premier Fencing makes
till
these.
too. Those fucking chickens kind of till the ground.
They
They
till,
kill all the
they
ticks
scratch.
and shit too. So that's a really good
that's
thing
the
to have them
important
loose
thing.
running.
They get rid of parasites and bugs, dude. That's a real important thing. Like imagine
Grubs.
chickens running through your cannabis garden and stuff, but they will like during the time they'll start to like turn the ground into mud. So you got to move them. They make these collapsible electric fences that you can just
Zap the
set
shit
up.
out of them on the
You
move.
net them and then you move them every day. You move, you move the shaw like 4 or 5 days, and then like once a week you move the whole fucking
I would
thing.
recommend some kind of lid or something, or at least be in the shade, because there's fucking a lot of these chicken hawks. And
Yeah.
fucking
Swoop.
them.
Yep. Yeah, you gotta have some type of well, that's basically what you put them in at nighttime is their daytime shelter as well. And so when they feel safe enough to be out and about, and then you might need to keep a goose with them or something like that to keep them safe from coyotes and from predators. But you might need to put up a fucking what are they called? Scarecrow, dude. You gotta hang
like-
something up there like that.
I feel like
You're good.
Gurley should be here because he's Mr. Animal Planet for MBGS.
You're
He
right,
really would
man.
have a lot to add.
We need to call him
He
in,
knows
man.
all the alpaca facts.
He does. Alpaca Facts. That's our new segment, Alpaca Facts.
I wonder if he knows
That's
about the
awesome,
scrotum fur. I'm gonna have to ask him next time I see him.
Scrotum fur.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
man.
the message I read.
It was the gooch blanket.
Yeah, they said it's the softest fur on the alpaca was off the scrotum. So,
Wow.
interesting. I bet you it's the most expensive too, because I can't imagine you get a whole huge harvest there.
Tain't
I don't
much of
think
it at
we
all,
can
is there?
turn that off.
I would think not.
Right. Maybe
No,
I'm
no
pretty
jokes
sure-
for the no
I'm
taint
pretty sure
jokes.
Daddy Red has a musket ball bag that's made out of a elk bag. I think maybe I don't know. Maybe it's moose. I
Elk
don't know.
sack.
you guys should start saving all those trimmings and like sell that shit.
Good idea.
Maybe it's gold.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Trimmings.
L'Oreal, you're worth it.
You're
I
worth
don't
it
know.
too.
I don't know what the fuck we're talking about anymore.
Yeah, what trimming?
I'm stoned. I'm
You-
good.
Pubes,
Hey.
Spartan.
Oh,
Good.
pube
Oh.
trimming. Pube
Yeah,
trimming.
well, it's called
Pube
Just
trimming.
for Men at that point, I think.
Oh, I was talking about
Just for Men Gray.
moose balls, but pube trimmings that could be used for art. Yeah.
Could be used for art.
It's also kindling.
You want to pass
I mean-
it?
Tinder.
Good, I guess.
Tinder.
There's no way in hell I'm buying a piece of art.
Get a
with
ferro
no-
rod with that, and you'll throw a
Hey,
spark before
You
you
mean
know.
No, I
you mean knowingly?
Shellac or something.
Guess I'm taking this Valentine's
Daddy
Day
Red
back.
corrected you and said it was a kangaroo ball bag.
Kangaroo, even better.
Joey.
Red's gonna fool you and make a stuffed animal and stuff it with his pubes. And you're gonna want to buy it.
That is
It's
fucking
gonna be like a down boy. You're gonna lay on it and get poked in the eye.
disgusting. And that would be an
This
evil,
old
evil
horsehair
gift
blanket.
to give somebody that you hated.
We're going in the wrong direction. We're going in the wrong direction.
And now I have.
See, you're not thinking about that other thing. Now you're thinking about this thing.
So if you get sheep, you can use the sheep wool to stuff your.
Red, when you said
pillows
you, did you
and
mean like
stuffed animals.
EWE, you, or were you just saying
You?
you as in like the pronoun you?
Ew.
Were you being
Well,
clever
that,
with
that
the
would
sheep?
be punny. That would be punny, and I should have done
It
that,
would be
but I
punny.
did not. I did not do that. I
Sheep
it was,
can be fucking. They come after
mispronunciation,
you. You gotta be careful with sheep, man.
they'll do actually a really good job of helping clean up your. I talked about it yesterday. I think.
Eat your
They're-
grass.
Yeah, they eat your grass better than
Goats.
goats. Yeah, goats will tear up your fucking soil and shit
goats?
like that.
Goats
They
piss
make
all over
really good
themselves. They fucking
compost. You
stink.
know? Sheep will make good compost as well, but they
Did you
won't.
say the goats
up
piss
fucking
all
dirt.
over themselves?
They absolutely piss all over themselves. And it's
Why?
fucking- they piss on their own face. They piss on their own beard.
This is a
Fucking
fun for
stink.
girly fact that we
Well,
didn't know.
You should really clean their udders before milking them.
Yep.
If that's the case.
How do they do that?
What do you mean? How
Red.
they,
Hey,
How do
Red.
they
Male,
piss on their
male
face?
sheep don't have udders.
they fucking piss on it. Google that shit. I swear to God.
I didn't know I shared.
Do get a
anything
goat
about
though.
the goats.
You can milk the
Goats are fucking
females.
disgusting.
There is goat
milk the
cheese.
females.
Staining goats are kind of funny, but then you feel bad. You feel really
Yeah,
bad.
Males.
no, I don't like all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
The males
I thought
only
it-
have
at first
one
it was
udder.
funny. At first it was
Females
funny,
have
but
two.
then when you see like you on the videos, you see them just fall down and you think that's funny. But when you're there, you see how they get back up afterwards, and they're like
Like it's a
confused. They're not
free
sure where
film
they're at and
moment.
shit. And that's
They
fucked
pass
up.
out.
Yeah.
Nah.
And then they get they're then so touchy at that point that like anything sets them off, and they're
We
like
don't have a cow. We have a bull.
that way for a while.
Don't
Bro,
touch
goats
the
have
bowl.
huge balls.
I can't believe.
The fucking goats are
ahead.
so stinky.
Cows,
Oh,
cows
God.
and steers are a bit advanced.
Action Jacksons.
Cows and steers are pretty advanced. I don't know, man. I can't have any animals with the dog.
Apparently, the
Diogo-
Ohio State Buckeyes are more than a thing, right?
Diogo eat anything. I
Bro.
can't even have chickens yet because Diogo eat them. So
Oof.
I'm trying to figure out a way to actually get a couple. I want to put like two
Just
to
like the
four.
Tasmanian devil.
2 to 4 hens back there. I can't have any roosters, man. It'll give it away. I can't have anything that gives. I can't have any. Fucking
The hens are
4
pretty,
a.m.
hens are pretty fucking noisy too.
I know, dude.
They don't ever shut the fuck up.
I'm really trying to. I'm really hoping it's far enough from one of my neighbor's house, and she probably won't even care. My other
They're
neighbors are
low-key
like,
always
never.
making
They
noise.
probably won't care. You didn't ask.
Like they
her
can't,
I'm not
even
gonna
when
have
they're
them.
sleeping, they're like real low.
My township prohibits.
They
my
never
township
shut up.
Prohibits backyard.
Just think of all the times that we went over to a Balish house and all those fucking chickens and hens are just constantly fucking kicking up a ruckus over there.
It did
Like,
remind
in
me
the
of
Red's
fun.
house, there's no way he can own a rooster.
No.
Yeah, no way I can own a rooster. But I might be able to get away with a couple of hens. I might be able to get away with
Quail.
like I'd
You have to go
probably be
quail.
able to get away with a goat and even a lamb.
Cornish hens.
Nobody would.
Red,
Even,
you have to go quail, bro. That's what you have to go into if you want.
I've seen the
want
whole
to win.
quail thing, dude.
Quail.
I
You
have
can
seen-
eat and you can eat quail eggs too, and it's
And
totally
quails.
legal for you to have them and raise them.
I've seen what's the quail
Okay,
egg?
fly away.
Yeah, I gotta eat like a little dime-sized
they
egg.
make-
Is that a real?
The-
Quiet chickens
No,
only.
they're
bro.
Yeah, their eggs are little. They're
I
tiny
need,
little
I need a
eggs.
whole dozen of them. They got a
Hell yeah, just then get 12 of them. They're fucking small.
little birds, dude.
Red, don't
Who
be
cares,
climbing no
dude?
trees.
Oh
back there.
man, I've seen that, and I'm sure the hatchery that that's probably where I'll get there. So there's these what are they called? Corner something. Corner C. There's C something birds. There's 60
Cornish?
days.
Cornish hens?
Cornish hen? Maybe it's corner
That's still
Cornish.
chicken.
I
Corner
said that
Cornish
shit
or
like 2
something like
minutes
that.
ago.
Yeah, Skill said it a while ago.
You said that one? The white hen, yeah, that sucker will get it'll be an egg layer for you, yeah, but it'll get 10 pounds in like 60 days. It's like one of those.
Robert Rittenhouse says my hens were loud as shit.
That's
so
a big ass fucking chicken.
Oh,
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man, you'll be able to harvest 8 pounds of meat.
harvesting chickens.
harvest.
Yeah,
That's what you do. You harvest those
It's
fucking.
their flower time, Red. And do they
Tell me
like
that.
that 24 hours of darkness
60
first?
days,
or
man.
do
I'm
just
telling
go
you,
right in?
I'm telling you, dude. Chickens and cannabis. We all
What do you
co-evolve.
name them?
That's why you got that 60-day time, man.
Can you flip them back with 24 hours of light?
They
Can
run
you
around-
read
they might
Is
run
it
around
really
with their
good?
heads off.
I don't know. I don't think you're gonna have a hard time eating your chickens if you're feeding them and treating them right, and you're gonna have a hard time. You want to eat their eggs, but whacking their heads off is another story. It's tough.
Tough, dude.
No.
So, I don't know how I'm gonna figure that one out, man. Either, but I think that it's a.
What's he gonna do? Bury them all?
I'm
They're chickens. Just let them be chickens.
grocery, dude.
Yeah.
Their grocery food is just. I
Just
don't know,
let them
man.
keep prepping out eggs so you can eat eggs. That's good
I
enough.
would probably.
It's gonna be. I want to be self sufficient as much as I can. So it's just one of those hurdles. I gotta. I mean, if they're gonna do it, I want to be able to make sure that the food's living the best life and getting treated with more than just minerals. You know, you gotta treat them with love. So I think that's only gonna come
Right.
from their
Are you
handler.
gonna buy chicken sunglasses? Like Amazon probably makes sunglasses that are probably like chicken size.
I don't know. Yeah, sure, dude. Yeah, I mean, if they make them, yeah, that's right. I mean, I'll have some pets.
Chicken
you know, the
Oakleys.
fancy ones are pets, but I mean, you know, if you're doing pasture raising and stuff like that, and you're working them a certain way,
Can you get chicken method 7s?
yeah, for
Absolutely.
the indoors. I've
indoors.
been thinking about tossing a chicken.
We
in
did
my-
talk about this late stage capitalism shit and how everything's for sale. So I'm sure that if there's
Yeah.
demand, there will be chicken sevens.
I'll say
Chicken
it's gonna be
nuggets.
cute, and you're gonna love that fucking thing. It's gonna be tough to
I
try to
know,
kill it.
dude. Well, that's the
Good
thing.
morning, DOG.
That's the thing is
Yep.
is that you got to keep them in a flock. You got to have like a flock of the ones that are
40
harvested.
of them.
Like a
Those are
seagulls.
harvest. I'm not
Because I
saying
ran-
I'm not
Yeah,
saying you're
Five of
old.
them. You're gonna have a name for every
No,
goddamn.
dude. 60 days. 60 days, dude. They're babies. They're babies. They come in a box of a
Yeah.
bunch of them, and that's their purpose. That's
They're
that's
cute
their
as shit
purpose.
too, aren't they? They're pretty.
They
fucking
are cute, dude. They're so cute, you know. And
Yeah.
and the ones for laying eggs and that you keep for years, those are the hens that take
Yeah.
over the garden. You keep those. Those are your pets, and those ones you don't eat, man, because they're old meat. You let those things. You let
They're
them
tough.
die, and you feed them to other animals. You know?
If I had a pond, I would like to have ducks.
You let them die. and
Brown
you give
ducks
them
seem
your
like they're
blood.
cool, man.
Ducks are cool, dude. Yeah. Ducks are sweet. Ducks are good for
Yeah.
a lot of things too. They
Fucking
take
eggs,
care of a
too.
lot of
Chicken.
bugs,
For sure.
aphids.
They do
What'd you
shit,
say,
and they
Lady?
fucking make a goddamn mess too.
Yeah.
And they pick snails off of trees. And
Oh yeah, the biggest little farm story. That's
yeah,
a good
man.
one.
Biggest little farm.
I love that documentary.
They're coming out with a part 2 and a whole fucking TV series, I guess.
Cool.
Is that the OG documentary that you started the show with way back in the very beginning?
Probably.
Either that or the octopus one.
That the octopus one, yeah.
Or the
I don't know how true this is, but Jeff, I don't know how you say his name, Papalia, in chat claims chickens fuck ducks, but then again, ducks fuck chickens. I
Ducks
didn't know.
fuck everything, dude.
I didn't know either one of those to be the case. but-
Come on, get down with
They
the get
do?
down. there.
On the farm, the chickens were in a chicken
Don't-
coop though, in their own cage and shit, and the ducks
Don't
were
say
on
of
free.
corkscrew ducks, corkscrew cocks.
Yeah, don't say the R word. We'll get pulled
What?
down.
What word? The R word?
Don't say the R word. We'll get pulled down.
Oh, the R word. You can't say
Oh,
the
Yeah,
R word.
ducks have corkscrew penises because they're all R wording each other.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
ducks are messed up.
That sounds painful.
Crazy.
Yep. That's one of the banned words on YouTube. Will get pulled off of the.
Well, there's
geez,
two
it
R
took me
words.
that
I
long to
suppose.
figure out.
Okay.
What the
took a minute.
I was thinking of the other R word. I was thinking of the other R word. and I was
R
like,
word.
wait a minute. Oh, that R word.
Different R word, yeah.
That's not a word I was even beginning to think of using.
Guys, don't forget about the other R word. You don't want to say the other.
Exactly. There's like
So
3 of them that are
Yeah,
all
don't
bad.
pull a Joe Rogan.
Don't go full Joe
That
Rogan.
is that R word.
Don't go full Rogan,
Don't go
man.
to that R word.
Oh man, I don't
Good
know.
times here on the late sesh, man.
I'm in, man. I got that. I have like almost 2 acres, and I really want to get going on some type of polyculture of some sort, right? I think that I can get away with starting with something easy like
Echo okay with this? A polyculture?
polyculture.
It's an open relationship
Happy
in the culture.
Valentine's Day.
Does she know what you signed up for?
Happy Valentine's.
I think the easiest one to get around like any township ordinances would be some wildflowers and some bees. I think I'm gonna start there. I think I'm gonna
What about a koi pond?
That'd be really
I don't
cool,
really have
Red.
to be there.
Gotta dig them deep to keep the cats
don't-
away, man.
I don't have to be around.
You gotta get a hive and everything, you mean?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna work on one. I'm gonna work on getting one this summer.
Dude, they
That
sell
and-
them right at like Blaine's. You can get them right there. Already done.
Do they
Red, you
really?
seem disappointed.
Yeah,
that there's
yeah,
a bee
yeah,
around
yeah.
and nobody bought
Blaine's
into
is-
it.
They have a whole
Buying
section
them
in
too,
Blaine's
so-
right here in Jackson. They have a
Yeah.
whole section. If you go to the back of the
haven't
store,
been there
all
yet.
and stuff.
Becca found it not too long ago and told me and was like, "Hey, check out this place." And I was like, "Oh, that's perfect. That's exactly what we need." So
That place
I
is
need a
really nice
fence.
up
I
there.
need a few things. I need like a fence and so I my septic is like right in the middle of my lot, dude. It's a big septic mound right in the middle of my lot, and it's cool and all, but I don't think I'm gonna put any food space over it. I can't do any trees over it. I can't do anything like. But I think I can do some
Do
like
herbs and fucking
wildflowers and herbs and shit, right?
yeah.
So I think I'm gonna
Berries.
start. I think I'm gonna start my area there. I think I'm gonna start where the septic is, and go over that spot because in the future, if it needs to be dug up, so be it. Then that's the spot. There's not a greenhouse built there. There's nothing, And then I need to start working on fencing, but. Hey, we're working on some stuff right now that's hopefully we'll be able to have more time out there and actually have stuff like chickens and shit like that. It's a commercial property, so it might be a little bit of a something with the city, but I don't know, man. There's residential that's on like multi-acreage right across the street from me, and they have a commercial corn farm on residential, so they're not following any type of city ordinance right
fuck
there.
it.
They're not on ag land like they're supposed to be.
Fencing
I mean-
is a good gig if you've had a fence quoted in the last couple of years. It costs
dude.
about as
Oh,
much as
they're
your house.
fucking insane.
Oh, I'm thinking about renting an auger and
Yeah, you're gonna
probably-
have to, dude.
Yeah, putting most of the posts in myself, and then running some cattle panel or something.
Like
Um,
a 2-acre plot, a fence for that might be something like fucking 30-40 grand.
Yeah. I just want the fence along the roadside, along like the other people's property. I already have like a pre-existing what looks like maybe like an electric fence or something like that might be up that's not charged or on, but it's just a dual wire fence. But I mean, I'm cool with that for right now. I just need that's getting me away from the road because people like to just I'm on a corner and they just go riding through my yard, driving through my yard, harvesting animals out of my yard, all kinds of shit, dude. So it's wild. I had somebody harvest a deer out of my yard. What the fuck, man? They hit the deer, driving across the road. Deer runs into the yard, They got tire tracks going around the yard and like blood and hair. Like you can see where like they picked up the deer and put it in their truck. And like, come on, man, what the fuck? Driving. But the bitches, like right where I want to put my plot of flowers or start gardening is where they like drive. You know what I mean? And the other part is it's over my septic field piping and everything. And if you actually, so like I really do need a fence and get some because I need people to not drive over my septic area and break my fucking septic. Like you can't.
You almost need a berm like in front of your property.
Yeah,
My parents live on the main road. And
there's one on the main road side, but not they came around the back side, and there is a ditch. There's a ditch, and they still entered. I mean, there's one side where you could it's all fucked up. I've had utility vehicles drive back there and tear up my fucking lawn. It's all fucked up. But yeah, dude, fence, deterrence, rocks. Need rocks. Put some rocks out.
rocks will do it.
Plant a couple arborvitaes or something.
They don't grow quick enough, man.
I know. Yeah.
There was a post office vehicle stuck on a rock at my mom's house for like 4 or 5 hours one day.
That's awesome.
Rocks do a good job.
One of those little white post office trucks.
There was
I
a
drive
car
it.
stuck on the corner when we were walking for brunch. Just like Spartan, I'm telling you that I don't know what it is about walking to brunch at people's kitchen. You see all sorts of shit. One time it was a toddler just fucking trotting on down the fucking block by itself. It was like 2 years old.
What?
We're walking and
Oh,
this
yeah.
car is like on top of the curb. The sign is knocked over.
Stop
The stop
sign is toast, and there's nobody around. They
Nobody
just
around.
fucking-
What's the population of this little tiny spot? Nothing.
It's a Twilight Zone right there, man. It's
Yeah,
fucking
man.
So funny.
Tigro
reached the
said,
outer limits.
plant some blueberries on my
Tales
subject.
from
I've
the
never
dark
seen anything
side.
so strange in my life. Like just a little, like a kid looks like he learned to walk yesterday, pushing his own stroller with nothing in the stroller down the street. We're walking a good ways, and I'm watching it as he's getting closer and closer, and I'm like, I'm not seeing what I think I'm seeing. And then finally, I turn,
What
I'm
was his
like,
getaway ride?
but do you see his mom or
He might have
dad
brought
anywhere?
himself
Where
on a
is
walk
this
at
kid?
that moment.
What the fuck is going
Well,
on?
we finally crossed the street and went to go ask the little kid what was up, and then this
He tried to tell you some crack
babysitter
or something.
comes running down the street for like,
On
wait
the
a
side street, yeah. I'm like, what the fuck?
It was like, oh, there you are. It's like, oh my god.
Reminds me of the
Anyway.
Chappelle bit about baby, talking about going to the
Yeah, that was a bizarre
2 a.m.
experience. I was like, what in the fuck? Where do you live? What is this?
It's funny because it's a really nice neighborhood.
Yeah, it seemed that way.
Just crazy shit jumps off in it when you guys are going to brunch.
Yeah, it was just, yeah. It was
Every
just,
Stay
now
out of
and
that place
then.
on Sundays.
Stoney says kids are fast, very fast. It was Stoney's kid.
And it is Sundays. It's Sundays. Yeah.
He's getting his excuses in order already.
Yeah. My bad.
Yeah. Stoney, you're probably right. Yeah. So yeah, I'm sure that babysitter was way over her head or something.
That's why they needed the teddy bear backpack with a leash on it.
She got real lucky that day, man. Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Man, I fully support kid leashes.
For sure.
You need it.
I mean,
At Cedar
It's called the
Point,
Red Setter.
I'm surprised I wasn't.
Hold
better
your kid
believe
down.
it.
According to my mom, I wasn't on a leash. I'm surprised more people don't keep their kids on leashes at places like Disneyland. And
well, like if I mean, like a really hyper kid, if you can't keep them, in one spot for very long, I can see it. Makes
just
sense.
think about, man, I think about crowds and shit. I just think they get dense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and there's a lot of weirdos, man.
yeah, man. That's what I mean.
Oof.
Dense crowds, but hey, man, that. I mean, back in the '80s, though. I mean, that's a totally different time, I suppose. I'm sure there's just as many weirdos, but the crowds weren't as dense. Crowds are so much more dense now. There's just so many more people. I was talking. What was the number? It was like 4.5 billion people or something like that. Remember when it was 3 billion? Wasn't that just like not that long ago?
Dude, when I was a kid, it was 3 billion, and they were saying 7 the other day, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Well,
Crazy.
Seven? Not
7.
4?
7.
we had
7
less.
billion.
We had less people born than. Less people born than our
For the
deaths.
first time, yeah. The whole
The only reason that we gained population was from immigration.
Interesting. Well,
Yeah.
It's
So I
because
don't know. I don't think we're- I don't think
food
we're going
system is acting as a prophylactic, man.
galactic prophylactic.
It's all the.
Well, I mean, if you eat great,
hormones.
if you eat, vegetables
and
and stuff, it
sugars,
is
man.
prophylactic.
Bunch of fast food making a bunch of sterile humans. So
The theory is it's the social media and all the stuff you can do at home is keeping people from going out and finding dates and
they were talking about something also where like they're having issue with this in other countries where
Japan is upside down.
Japan's upside down because of technology being so high, because they have those like sex robots and shit like
Lots
that.
of shit to do. and-
Those sex robots. He
No,
goes
yeah.
right for the sex
No,
robots.
it's
Common
like,
thing that everybody's got that shit.
yeah, it's like it's like, I guess it's a really common thing too. Yeah, like everybody's got like sex robots, and they're like these automated whatever, and they just.
I'm gonna call. I find that hard to
Call
believe.
shenanigans.
I haven't seen one yet, and I
don't
think
know.
I probably would have seen one by now.
Dude, they're always more
Sequence,
advanced
don't bring
over
that
in
up.
Technology.
I won't.
Oh wow.
Here she is.
Oh my
Wow.
God. Was that DOG hacking?
Yeah.
What?
That was the dry heaves, man. It's like that old toy that if you turned it upside down, it would sound like a
was
cow
hoping
mooing and
nobody
shit.
heard
Remember
that.
the moo, and then you flip it back over, moo.
he does that if I move him. If I move him, he's at that age now. If I like move him around, he'll start that. I'm like, oh shit, I set him off, man. Fuck. Poor dog, dude. Yeah, he's okay, guys. He's all right. He's just hairball. He's got a hairball.
Casey brings up a good point that sex robots will lead to extinction.
I believe
Like,
that.
everybody's
Man.
going to sit at home and just have sex with their robots.
Good Lord, man.
But then you just make the robots like collect the genetic material and combine it themselves and continue your race. I mean, we just solve the problem.
That's creepy too.
It's creepy, but it solves the problem.
They're gonna collect genetic material, dude. They're gonna scan our RNA.
They could
Ooh.
do it anyway. I mean, fuck.
Probably already have.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, my computer has a thumbprint thing. Maybe it scans my RNA or like takes samples from me. Never know. Could be microneedles.
Or you donate blood or go to the hospital for any
They have
reason.
microneedles on it that I don't know about.
Like you getting a shot.
Oh,
No.
Lord, here we go.
No, dude. We got 5 minutes to talk about. Hamilton Morris was talking about these. He was on Duncan Trussell's Family Hour and talking about these new, like, this new era of just psychoactive type medicine, right? Where that can, like, basically, instead of treating a condition and giving you a medication that will fill a receptor for a certain condition, you change the receptor to accept the okay, so like right now you use a medication, you use a plethora of different medications hoping that it'll bind to a receptor, right? So you use all these different medications trying to fix the receptor. They're saying that in this new world of medication, you have one type of medication, but you induce some sort of pathogen or virus or something to change the receptor so that the receptor binds to the drug. So you don't need to try a multitude of different drugs. The drug's figured out. You introduce a pathogen or something to your neural network or to whatever it is, and then it binds you. The funny fucking thing about it is that we have this crazy pathogen going around, and then we're taking drugs for it, right? It's kind of fucking funny in that respect. So is it maybe a psychological drug or something like that? I don't know. I'm vaxxed, so I mean, it's not necessarily like me saying this is like my anti-vax statement or anything like that, but it's weird that this conversation was happening around in the same time frame. You know what I mean? This is this new wave of like drug research. Then here's this thing going on, but then so yeah, that thing was super bizarre, and that kind of caught me off guard, and I was thinking, wow, I wonder if maybe I'll be more docile or something like that because of this combination of, because I've also had the virus, right? So I've had the virus and I've had the vax. So I've got, in theory, both of the combinations. I don't feel any different. I don't feel like I took a giant psychedelic drug. So I don't think that's what it is. But it was interesting that, the two kind of like played together, right? So if you want to like play conspiracy or whatever, like it's pretty interesting. But that's all that I really had to say about that. But Hamilton Morris comes up with some crazy shit, man. If you listen to that dude talk, because he's actually into the actual chemistry. He's an actual chemist doing the research and like creating a lot of these drugs. So he knows what he's talking about. You know, it's pretty far out. And how far they've come with like research with this stuff. And I mean, they can basically tailor our personalities if they really wanted to.
Everything is chemical. Red, speaking of chemicals and Hamilton Morris, are we going to do a Polarity Science Behind the Veil Thursday at 9 p.m.?
Yeah, we'll be back at 9 p.m. You know, as best as I can get there. I do have to get back to the farm again on Thursday, so it'll definitely
all
happen.
Things considered, we will try. Sequence, are we going to do a Wake and Bake with the Groskies Saturday at 9 a.m.?
I don't see why not.
Well, there you go then. If you are having your wait a minute, hold on. Let's clarify one thing with Spartan. Is Bake stuck having to work Saturday morning?
This Saturday?
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. I'm too high.
Good shit.
I know. I'm not working.
All right, I'm playing.
Well, then you can make it. Playing the outro.
Good night, everyone.